Welcome back, everyone, to CCL Championship Day. 20 teams started with us yesterday, but only 2 remain. 1, our defending champions, and 2, the hungry West Coasters looking for a win in UCLA versus SLU. I'm Vaughn, and joined by me today is Borg, also known as Jordan. Borg, my good friend, I'm looking forward to a great match between these 2 teams. What can you tell me about them?
Oh, I am incredibly hyped, especially with kind of how today has really played out, right, Vaughn? So a team that me and you both know has what it takes to win this entire thing in UCLA, but really just underperforming all season. And, I mean, kind of annoying both you and me as friends of both the players, right? So, I mean, seeing them kind of, boss up today, rule number 1, and just show everyone actually what's up with UCLA really just warms my heart, and I'm excited to see them in the finals. But Lakeland, obviously on the pre-show and everything, I'm a bit of a Lakeland hater, but I will give them credit where credit is due. They made grands yet again, and they did win last season. They are looking incredibly strong today, obviously, against all these teams, pretty much being pretty decisive throughout the whole time. They had a little hiccup, obviously, in the GABU. I think it was that Dubu mirror they almost lost, but managed to get it done and made it here all the way to grands. So, I mean, pretty excited to see kind of how this shapes up.
That they did. We actually saw this matchup play out on the first day, which Lakeland actually took 2-0. We now have the full squad of UCLA on deck, and it's interesting to note that after that series, Lakeland took a bit of a coast to the finals while UCLA re-evaluated their strategy. So talking about the pick bans of this, we're not going to see Tycho anymore, which UCLA picked away almost immediately. They dropped that game 2-0 after Etihan had a very dominant forward performance, showing UCLA ends up picking Atlas Lab, looking fantastic. They have their signature combo between Gramella and Breezy, Luna Drakkar, a bit of an unorthodox pick combination, but one they are honestly quite good at. Lakeland banned Oni Village, also a fantastic ban by them because all 3 of those players on the side of UCLA, known for their dominance on that map, ended up Lakeland going Amy's App, a map that I know a lot of people dislike, Borg, but I'm partial to it. I enjoy the volatility of the map. And then finally, Lakeland took out the remaining maps and the final map, Night Market. A map that's sort of, I want to say, a bit safer for most teams. Most of the big 3 picked here with the, without Oni Village being in there for Amy's App. But a lot of volatility on these maps. All of these maps known for their KO potential. So we're probably going to see some bloody games and some fast-paced games, Borg.
Yeah, I mean, starting off with Atlas Lab as well, I think we're both pretty accustomed to just the craziness that this one can unfold. And also, like you said, Amy's App, I'm a bit of a fan of it too. It obviously, is a little bit of a weird map. You have to play a lot differently around it than pretty much every other map in the game. But similar, it's the same type of thing with Atlas Lab. Just be careful around the center or use it to your advantage. And depending on which team can do that better, I think these first 2 games will be very, very, I guess, a showing of that, right? And then we see a Luna ban. They do not want to see the 3Z Breezy Luna coming in already. And then I actually completely just missed. Was that a Vice ban? No, that was not a Vice ban.
Asher. I'm expecting...
Asher ban. It was an Asher ban.
Yeah, they want to make sure they have that scoring pressure on Soren, and Soren elects into that Vice. Very powerful pick, and also demonstrated his dominance on the pick in NASL. So we see that Era has been locked in as an answer. Rapid Fire, a powerful pick on her. Probably going to utilize it very well. And then the Honorable X Mirror. Etihan been proving himself quite well on the X. And Breezy, of course, the originator of X-Lore. So without further ado, CCL Championship, the 2nd season Grand Finals. Lakeland versus UCLA. This is going to be one match that's going to go down in the record books. A hardwood classic is on our hands, Borg. And I'm interested to see how these 2 teams play out with this winner's bracket rematch.
Yeah, we're getting started now, and pretty interesting that UCLA actually opts into the Mako Era X on Atlas Lab. Usually that's kind of, one of their night markets or one of the more safer map options, but it's definitely viable on Atlas Lab. But the biggest worry here is, can this Vice and Estelle, I guess, put on the pressure and KO them? But as I say that, Etihan's actually the one who's getting kind of pressured right now, and 3Z takes him out, but at the cost of their own barrier. So Water Fury going to have to play a little bit further back on defense, but Gramella and 3Z have been here before, and they're looking to take this barrier on this power play. But Etihan spawning back in the 2 seconds here, finally gets back up, full health, 3Z Breezy grabbing that orb. Actually, offensive motion here from Soren, tries to put it in, but great save from Water Fury and Gramella. And looking to stabilize everything here, Soren still has that 1 barrier left, though.
Yeah, it's true. Honestly, the Water Fury damage coming out of Mako shouldn't be discounted because X has to stay in melee range of that character, and she can just kind of wail on him. By contrast, when X is in Vice's face, as we're seeing, it's really difficult for her to deal with that offensive pressure.
Yeah, pretty difficult to deal with. And as we see here, I mean, Eminem Mouse actually going down to the pressure from Grimella and 3Z Breezy. And it stinks too if you're ET Han, because the X here can't really focus the era either, because the era can just shrink and walk away. So if you can't focus the era, you can't focus the Mako. You either brawl it out with the X, or you just kind of stand around and hope you get the core. And as we're seeing right now, it's really, really hard to get the core versus Grimella, who's dribbling it up to 3Z Breezy. But a great kill from Soren off the power chord on the Vice actually secures that one. 3Z Breezy now getting the core from Water Fury, almost puts it in, but a great save again from Eminem Mouse and Soren together, playing great defense, keeping it alive for now. But now Grimella is back up, and Ethan, ET is about to go down on the backside. Water Fury misses out on that Mako ultimate, but is still holding. And 3Z Breezy wants to take care of the business here, taking out the other X. Another power play. This first point is going crazy right now. The Vice ultimate not going to be able to do too much there, but it still saves and goes to 3Z Breezy and Grimella. Just cannot put the core in, and Eminem Mouse now have a chance on his own, but he gets stopped by Water Fury with the evade strike.
Oh, boy, we're in for a treat. Both these goalies are putting on defensive clinics. Soren obviously holding it down quite well, but Water Fury is not cracking under the pressure. ET Han and MNN Mouse are arguably the first or second best forward duo in the entire league. So the fact that he's showing such a strong first point bodes very well for UCLA, as Grimella and 3Z now on the offensive side looking to start a power play of their own, potentially get a sneaky KO, as Water Fury is more dealing with ET Han on his lonesome. MNN Mouse and Soren are able to kind of fight back with their long-range projectiles. In the 1v1 against Water Fury, ET Han is not going to be able to find it. Nice use of the ultimate ability coming out of UCLA's goalie. Now it's a 3v1 in the net, but Grimella and Water Fury once again perfectly navigate it. 3Z Breezy attempting not to get staggered, but ET Han so efficiently just waits for the ball to be delivered to him. Really Slew's game plan, or excuse me, Lakeland's game plan is just put the ball in his hands and he'll get to work in the goal box.
Yeah, a lot of this game is really going to rely on can Water Fury hold this 1v1, right? I mean, most of the time, Grimella and 3Z Breezy are probably going to have core control, but Soren doing a great job so far stopping all that. And Etion, I mean, finally kind of getting a little bit of a stride, getting that first barrier, almost getting the second. Great save from UCLA, but both barriers now going down for the side of Grimella and 3Z Breezy, and then Grimella with the solo play just puts it in.
There is something to be said about Era on Atlas Lab. I've been a victim to it as well. My good friend Corey was known for it. When she gets to that top barrier, shrinks the ball and the goalie, it's so difficult to stop that double barrier from happening. Grimella, an expert pilot on the character as well, instantly transitions his offense, resulting in a quick goal for UCLA. I'm curious to see if 3Z Breezy is going to be able to get more involved in the offense, as this Estelle Vice is kind of stonewalled the character harder than I'd expect. We'll have to see as the rounds develop here, Borg, if he's able to convert more successfully.
I mean, hey, with just rapid fire, I think the Estelle and the Vice actually, I would say, you know, both Vera X and Estelle Vice both very strong with the training, but I feel like the Estelle Vice, at least early on in a vacuum, pretty good at denying a lot of options and opportunities, you know, just with how many projectiles those two characters can put out, right? Just so much. But with ET Han going down now with the power play, UCLA have the chance to put this one in and go up 2-1 in the first set of the game. And if Era X can get first set of the game, you know what might happen. They're looking incredibly low here. Soren trying to hold it for long, uses the core flip. Now 3Z Breezy trying to take him out, but misses the secondary. The bull rush not going to hit yet. The primary is hitting. Soren is very, very low. Grimella is looking to dribble with the core flip here. Almost puts Soren in the back of his net, but it doesn't even matter. Finds the slider, as I call it, off that bottom side into the center. Soren just under way too much pressure there.
Oh, once I saw Grimella dribbling that ball up, I knew what was coming. He's such a maestro with the ball in the midfield. Just a pleasure to watch. Soren had some really nice defensive sequences, but sometimes your HP and your evade meter is just too low to actually have an impact on a save. It's a war of attrition in this first set. Both X's wearing down the enemy goalies, but the difference is Water Fury's character is just more equipped to handle that offensive one-on-one threat. As the side of Vice, just stronger when it's on their side of the field, as we see Water Fury losing the barrier like we're talking about. Nice passes between MNN Mouse and Soren. Once again, back and forth, but a KO! 3Z takes care of business in his own net, making sure ET Han can't convert. Now it's flipped on the other end of the pitch as 3Z Breezy's able to find that barrier, has the flip. Grimella's looking to get it to him, but MNN Mouse smells the danger, denies the pass, making sure that he and ET Han are keeping the ball away from Breezy's hands, but they can't be denied for long. That's one dribble. Grimella takes up point as Breezy flips, looking for the bull rush. Can't get it to go. Soren, excellent saves. Heads up awareness there as Eminent Mouse also in the back trying to help, but a Breezy Strike War will secure the first set. What a great start to this game. I'm loving this Atlas Lab gameplay board.
Yeah, well, that was a 3-1. I mean, still felt pretty close. At the end of the day, a little bit more of a slow chokeout from the side of UCLA there. Just so many more KOs, especially onto Etion. Etion, this game, really just needs to find a way to survive, right? That's kind of the game plan. If he can survive and keep putting pressure on Water Fury, it'll put UCLA in a lot more of a pickle, a little bit of a timer, right? So UCLA starting to get it done. The draft now looking pretty interesting. Quick strikes over to Soren, but the primetime rapid fire and the spec. There you go. I mean, go speak on it.
Yeah, I mean, this midfield role, I'm a bit of a knower about it myself. This primetime rapid fire era combination feels almost unbeatable. If I am ET Han right now, I'm gonna have my trigger finger on my evade button. And there's just almost nothing he can do to be permanently shrunk, as well as permanently off the pitch. UCLA doing such an excellent job of making sure he's denied, while Soren fighting for his life against the specialized training X. We see the downside of this vice pick. Breezy is able to just bully it out of the box. Water Fury Grimella doing an excellent job in the back. UCLA storming out to a first point off of some very powerful draft awakenings.
A couple things we actually didn't talk about. Actually, one thing we did talk about with the spec. Soren kind of put in a bit of a pickle there. Either takes away the quick strikes, which is what he did, or takes away the spec. And, you know, arguably which one is not really quite clear is correct. But Etihan actually taking out Breezy for the first time in this game, that's got to feel pretty good. But with Water Fury, which I was going to talk about, taking that spark of resilience, it's going to be incredibly hard to actually focus Water Fury. So I'm expecting Etihan to never pretty much do that for the rest of the game. And if he does, it's looking a little bit scary. Also looking scary. Both barriers down for UCLA, and it almost goes in. But Water Fury is holding stalwart. Great save in the back of the net. Eminent Mouse almost able to put it in. But now another UCLA power play as they get the second barrier, and it's looking a little bit doomed here as Soren is getting very, very low, but with the spawning of the X for Lakeland, they're stabilizing a little bit, but Breezy is just always in the right place at the right time. Great pass from Grimella and puts it in that top corner.
ET Han had some key KOs that round, one at the very end on Grimella and then another on Breezy at the start, but the speed from the Mako era combination is really proving quite difficult, even though I wouldn't say Lakeland is playing poorly at all. Really nice heads-up plays from the forward pair, and Soren has great offensive pressure. But maybe sometimes it's a little too much to bear. The double barrier is going to go down. We're going to see Breezy and Grimella with Water Fury coming up as well. Gets a little piece of the action, isn't afraid to show what's up. It's a 2-0 start for UCLA. They just are rolling over the competition after that first draft.
I mean, they've been rolling all day, Vaughn. They have not let off the brakes, I think, one time this entire day two. And now, I mean, here's some more trainings for you, right? His second spark for Water Fury if he wants it. That's probably a Monu here take for air. A Monu just so good. Yeah, you can shove it in the bottom corner so incredibly efficiently. The size for Etihan is going to be pretty helpful here, but that does leave Breezy open with that 1-2 punch, and he's going to get it with spec 1-2 punch. Going to be a lot of damage coming through. I don't really know what the plan is here. Water Fury now has 2 sparks with Spark Strength and Resilience. Going to be incredibly unkillable now, and I think is going to win the 1v1 even harder. Estelle gets hot shot at the end of the day, which is going to be a little bit of a consolation prize, still very good, but I feel like, I mean, UCLA is just winning this match.
Yeah, there's an execution difference, and as well, they're being rewarded with the difference in power trainings. I mean, Water Fury with this 2 sparks pretty much ensures that he's never going to suffer the same fate as Soren is, or Breezy is now, dare I say, as Grimella's going to try to bring it up, but Eminent Mouse and Etihan have a play to make here. Let's see if they're able to convert. Dribbling, making sure he's able to set up Etihan, but his brawler is so dangerously low, and out he goes. But Eminent Mouse! Eminent Mouse! Get yours, King! Get yours! Fight back! Let's see if Soren and Eminent Mouse, they have great synergy together. Grimella, almost a fantastic save, back and forth. Soren takes it home himself, doesn't need the pass, finally splits enough of Grimella's decision-making to put it in himself. I love that midfield goalie play. They knew they could marshal the ball up, even with an era speed. If it's played correctly, it should go in. Lakeland, good job on that point.
Yeah, I mean, great play and great, as you said, Soren and Eminent Mouse, just knowing they had full control of the core there, did not have to worry, as they did have a goal barrier left just in case something went wrong. And now Soren making everything happen himself, puts it in, takes both barriers, and gets the pass to Etihan, who gets it in with that X Maximus. UCLA just did not seem like they were ready for that point.
They did not. Soren full rushing out, and I don't mean the X dash, I mean his attitude in that point. The power of Vice on full display. If he's not getting choked out in the goal box by this powerful X, he's able to make plays happen. But now, as soon as I say that, Breezy just opens up the offensive slaughter. He's storming the keep, if you will, with Gramella right behind him, bringing the ball up on the bottom side of the pitch. Breezy not able to get there with the speed, but is always looking. Water Fury supporting from the back with those projectiles now. Gramella looking for a pass, but Lakeland's decided that they need to focus down this threat in their goal box. As Soren charges the ult, Gramella setting up a Monunado in the top, not able to get a go, while Lakeland finally finishes the job, and Gramella staggered as well. This could be 2 kills on the side of Lakeland. Be careful, UCLA, you don't want to get down this rabbit hole, as Soren bringing the ball back to Eminent Mouse, trying to get it in E.T. Han's hands. He's been so successful all weekend at converting this UCLA squad as the first to stonewall him Water Fury out of nowhere with the extra speed from his spark of power gets the slow roll into the net for UCLA's point.
Yeah, I mean, Soren just was not ready for the interception from Water Fury. I mean, I don't even know if Water Fury was ready for that. It was a great interception. I don't think he was trying to score there, but hey, you take those, as we say in the business. Water Fury playing pretty phenomenally this game.
Yes.
And one thing that I definitely want to bring up that I think Lakeland, if they want to win, really need to do more of is these kickoffs. They need to get this quick pressure right away with the Vice and with the Estelle. That's the, I guess, plus side of this comp, whereas the Era X will just slowly choke you out, as we're seeing here. But Eminent Mouse and Soren do a really good job at actually stabilizing, not losing their barrier, and getting a KO on the second try. But Breezy actually a great primary there. Takes away the pass from Eminent Mouse to E.T. Han and gets the barrier. Water Fury unable to save that one, so it is an even game here, but Breezy looking very low. Has the core here, though. Soren forced the core flip, and now E.T. Han versus Water Fury 1v1 to the X to it, and the X takes the set. Great job in the 1v1 for E.T. Han versus Water Fury. That's the first time I've seen Water Fury lose one of those today.
Water Fury's been playing phenomenally, but E.T. Han made sure to take his time there, evaluate his options, always just a little bit out of the strike zone of Water Fury. And Soren with a heads-up play saw the X primary getting charged up and knew he could slot it through the middle just in time. And really a key factor of that last point was MNN Mouse. We're seeing him finish off a lot of the KOs. There's chip damage from Soren being added up continuously off of the Chain Lightning. So excellent job by MNN Mouse, and he's decided to deny Mako that third spark. And that's the brutality of having that early spark start, is that now Mako almost gets her pick of the litter because someone has to deny her spark. So she picks up a nice twin drive, and Era also getting a chrono boost. Soren's been playing a bit of a deny bot. He's got the quick strikes and fight or flight, which if it was in either of UCLA's hands is just a potent combo versus this Vice pick.
Oh, but you know what else is a potent combo? That Monumentalist Tornado, just, I mean, sectioning off so much of the defensive side there for Lakeland, right? Soren just struggling to survive with Breezy putting so much pressure on. And like you said, now that they have to deny sparks, it's going to be harder for them to actually build, right, in these later sets. And that's the thing with Era X, right, especially if you get the sparks, is they're going to keep scaling. And they're going to have to keep having to play a lot better than UCLA to win this one. But right now, they're not doing that as Gramella finds the dribble, finds the shrink away from them, and just the core flip into the bottom side. I mean, they lost the last set, but it's pretty good.
Yep, and it's both teams come out swinging every single point. I'm never really sure how it's going to go. Already favoring Lakeland more, as we've talked about. When that kickoff goes their way, it's hard to regain their footing. But if Soren isn't able to get to E.T. Han, which he does, it's going to be a problem, and it's curtains for UCLA. As we've been saying, when this kickoff hits for Lakeland, it really hits. UCLA always scrambling on the defensive, as Soren and Eminent Mouse are just forcing that ball through for their brawler to finish it off. Excellent quick play from the side of Lakeland.
Yeah, I mean, Estelle Beam is longer than Era Beam. It can definitely get you off to a really good start, and if E.T. Han runs into the enemy goal and starts putting that pressure on, it's going to be really hard. Like you said earlier, this is really all going to depend on if Eminent Mouse can keep this offensive pressure going, but doesn't even need to right now, as E.T. Han is the one who finds a KO onto Gramella. And Breezy and Water Fury now are left alone to defend. However, there is the constellation of E.T. Han and Eminent Mouse both being incredibly low, so it's hard for them to actually push the advantage here. Gramella now respawning, shrinks E.T. Han, trying to find a KO. Backwards Tornado almost gets it, but a great actually evade there from E.T. Han. But Breezy at the same time on the other side actually gets the last barrier. Soren unable to hold it now as core flip, so should be okay for now, but it is a UCLA power play. Breezy needs to be careful though and not die here. and maybe comes back, does a little orbing, but no, full speed on the gas, storm the keep, as one might say, but it might pay the price as Etihan just comes out and punches him off the map, and now it's going to be Lakeland on that power play. Waterfury doing his best to defend, but can't hold the barrier. Needs to clear it on that bottom side, but here comes Soren. Here comes the three-pronged attack from Lakeland, being defended for now. Grimella, great shrink, but it's not going to be enough. Waterfury not in position for it, and I believe the static on the Vice primary there actually got that one in.
My goat. Water Fury is playing like a beast unleashed. He had an insane snipe at the bottom of the map. I needed to shout it out. And on the other side, Soren, the chain lightning's coming out. His primary usage this game, masterclass. I'm really impressed with the goalie play. Soren making sure 3Z isn't going to totally open up the net here as he takes both barriers quickly. Eminent and Mouse is going to fight back, but Gramella's on a breakaway. Soren has nothing. He's left alone with the arrow. This is dangerous for a ranged goalie. Era, known for her speed, even though not necessarily a striking character, has so much pressure on the net. 3Z misses the old strike. Soren's holding, Eminent Mouse holding, but Gramella's pressure is too much to bear. The rapid fire prime time is being spammed in the box. We are on game point for UCLA.
Game point for UCLA, and if they can get this first set here going on to Amy's Zap afterwards, they're going to be looking pretty nice. Great kickoff actually there from UCLA, and this is a great start to it. Grimella has that core flip as well. Waterfury needs to be careful though not to go too far forward. Just keep that last barrier alive. Grimella actually forced to flip to keep that one alive, which is actually good here. Keeps the barrier alive. Ooh, it's a little bit of sad boys there, not getting it, but it doesn't matter as Grimella has that rapid fire prime time. So many arrow beams coming in clutch here. Etihan is so low and they can't come back to help. Breezy puts it in right in the middle past Soren, and that's UCLA taking game one.
A dominant showing. There was some life from Lakeland there, but seriously, the offensive output from the Era X, it's a tried and true combo. I've seen it a million times, and it's the bread and butter of this Grimella and 3Z team. But I really have to shout out Water Fury this game. He was a bit of a silent hero. Didn't have to work maybe as hard as Soren on the defensive end, but his ability to walk up and contest the midfield exchanges, his ability to brawl the X in his own net was huge for UCLA to win this. This was his best performance of the tournament so far. UCLA is on a bit of a roll. I haven't seen them drop a game all day today. They've made the gauntlet. SLU, GMU, UTD, and now Lakeland, all of the top 5. There's only one remaining, the defending champs, Borg, and this first game was a statement game on their favorite map, no less. Getting the Luna ban, respect from the 3Z Breezy. This was really a strong performance from both teams, but UCLA on top for this first game.
Yeah, and another thing to definitely mention here, I think the midfield presence from Grimella is a big reason why actually UCLA can just keep this performance and keep stomping a lot of these games. But this, I will say, to give credit to Lakeland, this is the first time I've seen it a little bit tested because of how much damage pressure Eminent Mouse and Soren were actually throwing out to Grimella, making it really hard for him to actually get those redirects. But still, even with that, 13 more redirects than the second highest, which was the goalie on the side of Lakeland, which was Soren, right? Which is not usually a good thing if your goalie has the most redirects by a factor of what is that, 47 or something? Like, it's a lot, right? Like, their midfield probably should have the highest, or at least close to the highest, and if it doesn't, then that means your goalie is getting pressured a lot, and that is not what Vice goalie wants here. So great try from Lakeland there. They had some pretty rough drafts early on, and after that first 2 sets, and the sparking actually from Water Fury as well just made the draft so much harder for Lakeland and just really kind of put them into a little bit of a checkpoint scenario there.
We're going to go to Amy Zap on Game 2 board. One of my favorite competitive maps. Again, the ire of the community is on it for that dastardly hole, but I just think it's so fun how you always have to be on a knife's edge around the pun, actually not intended, but incredibly accurate. You always have to be on your toes. I think we're going to see the Vice run back. It didn't work out this time, but if I'm UCLA, I have no reason to ban away that Asher because this is a team where they have a bit of a unique streak where Water Fury is one of the only players that actually feels comfortable enough to mirror the Vice if he is someone that can do it, and I have a bone-chilling thing to share with you. As I've made the pun, I have summoned the OS gods. It is a knife's edge Amy's app start. This is going to be such a cluster of a game in this grand finals. we'll see the Azure Band once again. The respect to 3Z looked fantastic all day, and I'm going to expect that Vice run back just like we said. A classy Juliet as well. I'm curious if we'll see the Drakkar on the side of UCLA, something they've been enjoying playing. Ace best map as well. It's a guessing man's game at this point, what they'll pick, but I expect Rasmus on both sides. We'll have to wait and see, though, Borg.
Yeah, I mean, nice edge start. Doesn't even matter what the other one is. I've already forgotten. They should all be running it at this point, unless it's a really, really good one for maybe the goalies or something. But we see an Atlas actually here over for Water Fury. The Drakkar Rasmus, very deadly combo. There's so much KO threat now for the side of UCLA. And something that I did not expect to see here is Eminem Mouse playing Era, which, you know, not necessarily bad on its own on this map, but doesn't really provide a lot of the same KOing pressure or even scoring pressure, right, on the Amy Zap as I'd say Drakkar, or I'd say maybe, you know, an Amy or something like that. So, I mean, we'll have to see if this pans out, but
it's interesting.
I don't know. I'm not liking the draft for now.
Yeah, I feel like this team forgot the memo that we don't have Snake Draft on. They were more than willing to pick up Erasmus, and I think as this game goes on, Borg, obviously this first point is going to play out however it does, but we're going to see a real difference in the volatility that the forward pair UCLA has in finding their KOs versus the forward pair of UCLA. It's going to be up to Soren to really bear that brunt of that offensive pressure now that they've elected into Era, a character that really doesn't use power that well. So we'll see if the stylistic differences that these two teams approach with, which one's going to reign supreme.
Yeah, definitely some stylistic differences here, but early on, before you hit level 2, it's not going to matter too much. Now everyone obviously level 2 in the game, except for ET Han on the little bit of the poor Julie player here. Stucks to play Julie into KO, as it always feels like. You're getting flipped into the enemy goal. Water Fury does not care about the energy here, as his forwards are putting on just so much pressure. Gramella and 3Z Breezy both almost have flipped, but it's not even going to matter. A crazy angle off the middle here from, I believe that was just Eminent Mouse with the attempted clear. Puts it right on that top side, and it's already looking up for UCLA.
It really is, and it's going to be difficult as well because the only person who can comfortably deny 3Z, nice hook, on any creation-based trainings is going to be that Era, who I'm expecting will be low. Wow. I mean, I just need to stop yapping. Yeah. That was, I think, the fastest goal we've seen all playoffs. A 7-second goal. Pummelers as well with that nice edge speed mix. And so the goalies aren't in control. Whichever forward missteps first is going to result in almost an immediate goal on the side of the other squad. So this is just going to be par for the course as Gramella and Breezy. I mean, wow. I think
that's the fastest set this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That was one of the fastest sets I've seen in competitive history. That was a slaughter.
Yeah, and I believe the only other faster point we saw was actually UCLA earlier today. It was 3Z Breezy scoring in 6 seconds, not 7 seconds. So there you go. Almost one-upping himself. Gramella not quite able to do it, but definitely the fastest set I think I've seen in a long time. Missile prop going to go over to the Rasmus, so incredibly strong, and also denying the Vice at the same time. Drakkar going to pick up that early spark of leadership. Not too much bow, but they don't really need too much extra power, as we already saw them just storm through that first set. Era going to be getting Chrono, which might help. Water Fury getting Glass Cannon also will help. But, I mean, not really too much here. I think the biggest thing is Rasmus getting that missile prop. Going to be making Chaos in the middle a lot easier.
I'm surprised as well that Lakeland opted into this map. My goodness. If they just don't feel comfortable taking the Rasmus Mirrorborg, I'm not really sure what the decision-making is here, but I am sure that UCLA's got another offensive sweep coming on. Gramella and Water Fury playing this midfield. I'm at a loss for words. UCLA is firing on all cylinders. Get out of the way. This team cannot be stopped, man. Have mercy on their souls.
I mean, at this point, it's just go next bracket reset. I don't know. I mean, there's still hope. They got the bear. They have a lot of forward pressure if they can get a good NATO. If they can maybe shrink Gramella and get it through. Julie does still, can do Juliet things. But with these ping-ponging into 3Z Breezy, there's not really many other clears Soren can do there. And 3Z's more than happy doing that, as they are the Rasmus, just in case anything goes south, has the hook, has that secondary to keep up with the core. And almost gets a KO there, but not quite. Slowing the game down actually a little bit here. Lakeland finally managing to have a little bit of a point here overall. And there you go. Soren actually finding a KO here onto Gramella, and now they're finally on their own power play. UCLA need to play defensively. 3Z Breezy covering the pass. Water Fury uses the core flip to actually keep it out for now. The expanse going out. Every ability going out. Water Fury has nothing left, but that's all that they're going to need as Etion loses the recovery drone. Now 3Z Breezy looks for that hook, does not find the fish on the lake there. Ooh, Etihan almost gets the KO as well. This is just a really volatile point. Even UCLA cannot stabilize this. Breezy now with the dribbles, trying to get something going, but Soren finally using that knives to his advantage and reading everything that Breezy can do to him, has the core flip as well, just in case. Finally, I mean, UCLA is getting tested here a little bit.
It's true. This is a bit of a more back and forth point. The KOs have been stabilized for Lakeland, and I think a large part of that is Soren's excellent play at this point. He really is doing it all and puts it in. Got the KO, kept the pressure up, saved everything that came his way. He did not crumble. This is why he's regarded as his title has been stated, the king of collegiate. He's not going down without a fight here. I really like his play that point, and he's level 5. His forwards board, level 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those Soren against the world type games, at least until Etihan and Mouse can find a KO or can find just, something of their own here. But until then, they're going to be extremely behind as 3Z still putting on the pressure. That point did not phase UCLA in the slightest as Gramella and 3Z already putting it in here. and Mouse looking incredibly low, getting shotgun into the back of their own net. Gramella just does not slow down on the gas here. But taking a second to recoup here. Water Fury actually running up. Not sure what this is all about. A little bit of a base, trying to get Water Fury involved here a little bit. Little Atlas go, young man. Not really going to be getting anything for it. But still have the offensive pressure. As I say that, the Juliet does get it. The Expanse goes sideways here. Not actually going to fully form. Nothing going to come of it so far. The Atlas Celestial expansion going to be healing a little bit there. I'm trying to get my ability names down. That's pretty good for me here. Soren clearing it away. I'm in a mouse. I mean, game's kind of stabilized, points stabilized, finally getting in overtime. First time I think we've seen that in a little while now, as Breezy has a little bit more speed to work with here. Soren doing an incredibly good job right now, keeping it away from the forward duo of UCLA. Water Fury now has to contend with Ethan on the other side. Corflip going away. Corflip going now onto Soren. Breezy as well don't have it. This is an insane point as Gramella finally gets it cleared out. Breezy finally finds another KO, and that's exactly what they needed to get that goal on that top side there. I mean, a little bit of a stalled point there. Kind of got a little silly, but UCLA finally gets it done in the end.
Yeah, I'll say that I think that if UCLA isn't finding the hooks, Lakeland is kind of playing the offensive sequences better. Now, of course, it's Amy's app, so I can't really say that for sure. But seriously, I really appreciated how the side of MN and Mouse and Soren really held down defensively there. They're always being tested, though, as Gramella should get this. And with a core flip, it might be curtains here if they synchronize their plays a little bit better. But 3Z, I think, looking for a pass. Gramella wanted to take a bit of the glory himself, but now is giving it to his brawler. With Water Fury supporting, it's a one-on-one. Make that two-on-one as MN Mouse comes back to help. But Strike Shotgun, always such a powerful tool. And so is Hits on 3Z. I love that heads-up play. One of the few brawlers that will help his midfielder out in those situations with primaries. Even though he's not getting the goal, just the edge of the whiplash made sure that Soren wasn't able to strike that ball. It's one more set, and UCLA has already reset the bracket with a delicious Monumentalist up for the Rasmus to take around the Amy's app play.
Yeah, and also 2 sparks here for Gramella, who took that Spark of Leadership. There you go. Spark of Focus going to be getting the cooldown is going to be so incredibly important, as the Monumentalist missile prop Rasmus hook is going to be extremely scary now that it's on a lot lower of a cooldown. You hear Etihan trying to get a little bit more stagger for himself as he's just sitting on 1 HP the entire game here. And one thing actually that I think it might be the deal breaker is Water Fury getting team player. So not only will UCLA have a lot more pressure on the KOs here, but Water Fury going to be getting it to them a lot faster now, which is going to make Soren's life a lot harder.
It sure will. Soren is already on the defensive, as we keep talking about, but maybe there's a little bit of hope. If they can get it past 3Z, Gramella is playing way more cautiously now because they understand that Lakeland is a threat once they're in this 2-on-1 situation. But 3Z, always doing what he's done well this point, gets another hook and baits out the dash punch. Water Fury's on the top side, but he's too fast. The Pummeler's knife's edge speed, this man is gliding on the pitch. It is just unbeatable. Soren really doesn't have the tools on his character to deal with 3Z if he's gotten that hook kill. It's an eclectic choice on the side of Lakeland to not match this Rasmus, and UCLA is making the pay for it with spades, and another kill going down. UCLA cannot be stopped. E.T. Hahn's going down, breaks the recovery drone. Gramella on the back with the strike shotgun to bait out the flip and make sure the rebound is there. Vice ult being dropped, but the offense won't stop until E.T. Hahn puts his foot down on the offense and Gramella's face. It's a goal, except for Water Fury says no, it's not a goal. It's still still alive. He's not done. He's still not done. He's still not done, Borg. He can't be broken. Iron Wall picks up the 300.
No!
But Sword is there to put the nail in the coffin. Oh my gosh, Water Fury is Water Furious. He can't be contained. Sword has to make sure. Whew, wow, what a point from Lakeland.
I mean, the little Atlas that could until they couldn't, right? Used everything in their kit, including the core flip, to secure that one for as long as physically possible. But Grimella just not getting up to help out soon enough. Breezy getting a quick KO there, actually, and a quick barrier. I mean, UCLA decided, hey, no more playing around. We are going to put this one away as Breezy and Grimella. I mean, you know, Lakeland can have all these crazy points they want, but if they don't win a set, it's not going to matter, as UCLA now are on bracket reset point.
There's nothing more satisfying than watching a team firing on all cylinders. Grimella, 3Z, and Water Fury are not getting stopped. They are barreling down this Amy's app game. 3Z's fishing for the hook, but can't find it, but Water Fury, so solid. Oh, E.T. Han. That was some excellent strike placement. I was ready to write off Lakeland Borg, but he slotted that in quite nicely. Maybe Lakeland's got some life in them. They win this set. You never know what could happen in the next draft.
I mean, they definitely have some life in them. I think it's really just their comp that's holding them back here. It's just such a weird comp to play into. I believe the outdraft is definitely there, but Etion, and Mouse, they've still been in it all game. Etion just been clawing at UCLA from their own net here, trying to get something done, but Soren now loses the barrier, and a KO goes onto Eminent Mouse, and Water Fury running up himself, the little Atlas that keeps trying to put it in, and Grimella is going to be the one that denies the core flip from Soren, stuffs that right back in his face, and they're going to get the bracket reset on 2 extremely quick games.
The Bruins are living up to the ferocity of their mascot. These guys just had a statement. I think that's the best I've ever seen them play all season. I love UCLA, love the players, up against the defending champs. Lakeland has not dropped, I think, a game until Grands. And UCLA just stormed out to a 2-0, and that was a systematic dismantling. Breezy with 9 KOs. The rest of the lobby, 4. The entirety of the lobby had 4. Less than half of Breezy's KOs. That was a really great Rasmus showing. Really think that they can't be taken back to Amy's app. They were just dismantled. If I'm Lakeland, I'm going back to the drawing board on the pick ban phase. I won. I mean, they got taken to Atlas Lab, which UCLA loves. Then they went to Amy's app, but didn't feel comfortable on the Rasmus mirror. But they also don't want to go to Oni Village, which is arguably UCLA's best map. I'm really concerned on how Lakeland's going to be on this reset. Now, there's no doubt that this team is powerful. They've won last season. They stormed their way through the bracket. It wasn't close in any of their games. I mean, I watched them. You could say it wasn't. But this UCLA squad compared to the squad yesterday that lost to Lakeland is night and day. So, Borg, if you're Lakeland here, how are you coming back from this? What are you looking at this drawing board?
Yeah, it's a tough one, right? I'm not sure if Lakeland has anything in their back pocket here. Definitely, I would not go back to Amy's app. And if they did, you gotta figure something out, right? You gotta mirror the Rasmus, or you gotta at least contend somewhat. But I would say you can't get down on yourself, right? You gotta realize, all right, they got us on Atlas Lab. That was our map pick. I think they still played very well in Atlas Lab. They just couldn't quite finish a lot of their options and all their opportunities they had. And also, the draft itself kind of went in the way of UCLA there. So I'd say they can't just say, all right, no more Atlas Lab. They got to stick with their guns there. Maybe go back to Atlas Lab, try to get things a little different. Maybe change up the comp a little bit. That's how I would do. But the one thing for sure, keep banning Oni Village, keep banning Amy's app if you can. But like I said, you can't really do both, right? So you got to choose one. I would be lost here. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know what I'd do here if I was Lakeland. I think just stick with your guns and try to take them on the Atlas Lab yet again. Keep picking that map, or maybe go Night Market earlier if they're comfortable on that one too. But I don't know, it's hard. This UCLA team's starting to look like Sundubu here, I think, Vaughn.
This is the team, Borg, all the way back so many weeks ago, at the very beginning of the season when we were on that casting desk so many weeks ago. I know multiple of us said that UCLA would be the #1 team this season. Now, they haven't done it yet. And throughout the weeks, I've also gone on record, they've been the most inconsistent performing team in CCL. You literally never could see. They would go set 5.5 versus 16th seed Auburn. and then they would 2-0 one of the top seeded teams the week after. It was truly anyone's guess how this grand finals would go. But this I did not expect. And if I'm on the side of Lakeland, it's time to dig deep. These guys are battle tested in CCL. They're the champs. I don't think they've lost a collegiate event. They've won every collegiate land they've gone to. They've won CCL. They've always proven that they're the cream of the crop in collegiate. They have synergy. They've practiced for, at this point, years together now. So they're no stranger to having their backs against the wall. And I know they've got bits and chips on their shoulder as well. If I'm Soren as well, it's hard. He's going to have to dig deep mentally, because this really reminiscent of almost point for point what happened to him in NASL Grands. Right? They are up in Grands, winner's side, a quick 2-0. He doesn't want that to happen again. I won't say who did it to him, but he was probably really good at the game. So I know he doesn't want to relive that experience again. As a guy who's gotten second in so many Grands, it doesn't feel good. So if I'm Soren, I'm really digging deep. And honestly, it's one good game away, one small reset away. And this is no, like, you know, you can lose an early set, all right? But I'm a big Smash guy. I love Melee. I love all the Smash titles. Knowers know that when the bracket reset happens, the winners get to take a breath. They get to see how they lost, and they can adjust. I think you can't take them back to App. You're going to still have to ban Oni Village. Don't pick App this time. Let them choose between the lab and the App. Take the other way in the last ban and see where the chips fall. That's where I would start it. Keep E.T. Han on the maps where X is good. He's performed admirably on that pick. I love watching his X. I seriously think he's had performances that rival 3Z on the X in this bracket. And Eminent Mouse as well. Estelle, while pickable on Amy's app, they elected not to, and I really do like Mouse's Estelle. So when they can keep those longer range characters more free fall and have things that are supporting device, I think it could be good. Now, I'm hearing that there is the run back on the Atlab, and they did listen to Borg. They are going to Night Market Game 2. However, Game 3, interestingly enough, if I think I heard it correctly,
it was Amy's app. It was.
I think it is. It is the app. So somehow it got back through. Lakeland might have a different idea. We'll see if it makes it to that Game 3. But I can already guess that Oni Village, I'm not entirely sure how it went, but I'm going to guess that Oni Village banned by Lakeland, and then Tycho banned by UCLA, dropping that map to them yesterday. And then Goo, I don't think that UCLA is a big fan as well. And then the final map also banned out. So we're going to go back to the lab again, as one of my favorite lyrics would be. And I love this map as well. Curious to see what the adaptation is going to be, because if I'm the side of UCLA, this Asher's staying banned for life. So I'm curious if Soren's going to elect into a more defensively oriented goalie, or if they're going to stick to their guns. His Vice is quite good. It'll just be interesting to see how they decide to map out this pick ban after that first set was so dominant by UCLA Borg.
Yeah, and getting into the game here, it is a Spark of Strength Knives Edge start. So already sparking. I'm expecting a lot of the members, if not everyone, who might be running that Spark of Strength. And we're going to be seeing a good old classic that I am glad we'll never see again after this patch, is the full mirror Era X Mako on Atlas Lab here. Wow, this is something for sure. I mean,
I'll say it, Stu. After mirror, mirror on the wall, what is the most boring comp of all? It is the bread and butter of CCL. If I have to watch this one more time, I'll turn into a nutter. Gosh, the Mako Era X mirror has been brought out. It really just comes down to who's the better kitten. And I'll be honest, both teams are pretty good at the comp, so we'll have to see how it plays out. It really is going to come down to especially which I feel like personally Era gets the better trainings. Really, the mirrors, the strongest thing is if you get off to an early lead, you're able to pick more of those advantageous stats up. It really pays dividends, and it does come down to this Era. Which Era is going to have more speed? Which Era is going to have more beams? And honestly, between Water Fury and Soren, I would say they're going to have identical performances. Water Fury is truly playing up to a CCL championship level this game.
Yeah, and I mean, using that kind of logic there, I'm a little bit scared for Lakeland then, right? Carmela's put on so many of these, midfield diff performances, finding so many redirects. If he can get first pick or at least ahead of Mouse, no matter who wins the set. It's going to be pretty hard as the games go on, but already a great start here for Lakeland, taking out threes. You had a core flip as well, so kind of stunting that energy economy, that pressure that UCLA has been racking up so far this entire set. And that's what this comp's all about, right? Which team can kind of gather the energy faster, which team can pressure the other goalie a little bit faster with these tornadoes, with these shrinks. And right now, I think Lakeland's kind of doing it a lot better, as Grimella needs to be careful, or else they might just go down here. But Breezy now finding that barrier, great layering of strikes in that bull rush secondary to actually get the barrier. And Grimella might grab this orb too, gonna be fully healed up. And with the ultimate from ET Han there, not really getting too much from it. Actually, UCLA kind of clawed the way back too, but as I say, the M&M Mouse with the barrier and the core flip almost puts it in. The only upside here is Grimella does have that core flip. Breezy straight pass to him, not going to put it in. Soren stunting it for now, but ET Han runs in the middle there, has the core flip ready, but needs to be careful to not go down. But it doesn't even matter in the end as Breezy finds the extra dribble into that bottom side. I mean, a little bit of a chaotic first point, but UCLA come out on top.
This is interesting. A lot of times when the Mako mirror has been locked in, or it comes down to which forward will play better, which forward pair. And on paper, you would assume the NASL duo would do that, but Eminent Mouse and ET Han, I'm serious, these guys are no slouch. I'm watching the pressure that they're putting out. It is really impressive. I say that now as he goes down, but Water Fury had something to say about it. The one benefit I will say Lakeland has here is now Soren cannot be bullied out by this X. This Mako character does a real considerable amount of damage. It's not easy for the X to pilot against this character without getting out brawled. So we'll have to see which one of these Makos is able to have more of a midfield presence. If they can back up their Era player, it'll be the difference maker in the set.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, it seems like the energy is favoring UCLA here. Waterfree has that flip threes. He just had the flip, used it, secured that last barrier. Grimella now, even though Shrunk still winning that midfield interaction against Eminent Mouse, finding the good dribbles and keeping the core forward. So many strike war wins in a row from Grimella, just dipping the whole lobby. Feels so good right now. Waterfree going to keep it forward as long as they can, but no, the unfortunate black hole spawning actually takes out Breezy. And now UCLA went from amazing to awful. They're going to be behind here on health bars, behind here on so much things, as Waterfree tries to find a flip, tries to find the bottom corner there, but a great tornado from Eminent Mouse actually going to be saving that one. So managing to stabilize is UCLA, but still, I mean, the pressure from Lakeland, like you said, has just been so incredible this point. And ET Han trying to take out Breezy, trying to keep the pressure on, and Water Fury is just doing his best to keep the core flip in front of the net, but
nice.
No, a duo save there from Grimella and Water Fury at the same time. I'm not sure who actually got the credit for that one. Doesn't matter, they both were there as the cage clears that one out for Water Fury, and now UCLA are finally looking in a dominant position. Grimella looking to use his core flip, pops it up from the middle, pull up three-pointer, does not hit it in, but it doesn't matter because the layup straight from Breezy finds it with the X Maximus there, stunning both Soren and Eminent Mouse.
There are some good plays on both sides there. I like how both eras are playing a bit more aggressively than maybe a traditional era would. It is really important that they step up. That really shows the difference. A lot of the era play that we've seen the last day or so, they've been more of a passive, more supportive style. And while these two, Grimella and Eminent Mouse, are still doing it, you see the pressure they have on these barriers. It's really quite important in this comp to make sure that she has that additional frontline access. Oh, but a total collapse on the side of Lakeland. I felt like there was a miscommunication there. Breezy is emoting with my favorite emote in the game, as he's very proud of that. Eminent Mouse, though, is going to work with ET Han to try to get the ball back in their possession with the flip. This could be a barrier brought down. ET Han playing support here, making sure this ball doesn't go in as Eminent Mouse plays in the front half. Soren gets the ball under control, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. It's too difficult to tell, but Water Fury caught lacking, trying to help offensively. That is the downside of playing in that position. Breezy now bringing the ball up with Grimella, have good advantage positions in terms of where they're sitting, but a great NATO. Eminent Mouse turns this into a power play. All ET Han has to do is punch it home, and he does. Eminent Mouse, a spark plug out of nowhere for Lakeland. Make sure that this isn't a clean sweep of a first set.
Yeah, I mean, Grimella and Water Fury both at separate times kind of caught lacking there. Water Fury moving up a little bit too much and losing that barrier from a great strike on the side of Lakeland, and Grimella just disrespecting Eminent Mouse there a little bit. So I guess the revenge of Lakeland kind of coming in clutch here. And if you look at the XP numbers, I mean, Eminent Mouse is currently outperforming Grimella, at least on paper. And it's feeling pretty good. Grimella going down once again. ET Han and the side of Lakeland in total, I mean, they're just doing so well. I feel like the difference maker being Soren, able to hold Breezy 1v1, and Grimella having maybe to help Water Fury, it seems like a little bit, or at least that's how they're playing. But, I mean, maybe you just heard me moving up now, trying to dribble forward, trying to keep in
Oh.
Breezy. And E.T. Han comes back again with another KO. This man cannot be stopped. Finds the X-Maximus for the second barrier. Breezy now has to play on the bottom side. Waterford getting CC'd over and over again. But the X, actually Breezy doing a great job defensively, keeping it away for now. Has to use the special for it. Unable to now have that to secure a barrier. But they're able to stabilize the point just a little bit. But as I said, E.T. gets the flip, gets the secondary onto the top side. Water Fury does not have the core flip in response, and that goes in for Lakeland.
Eminent Mouse, I've got to shout him out. This guy farmed Grimella at that point and had some great ball movement. I was a little nervous about watching this mirror get locked in by Lakeland, but it turns out they can match and go bar for bar with the side of UCLA in terms of the core control department. It's really something for you. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot, but one thing that we're definitely forgetting here is if you look at the energy for UCLA, they might have lost last point, but they did not use much of their energy, and that resulted in 2 barriers and now almost the goal, forcing Soren to use their own core flip. And looking at the side of UCLA, they're at a huge advantage here, but the power play from Lakeland looking to stop all of that. Grimella now needs a couple orbs, needs to play defensively and hold this health bar. Rely on your goalie, rely on Waterfree to hold this for now, but Grimella kind of doing everything, getting both barriers and winning every single strike war to keep it forward, waiting for Breezy to respawn, and now they're on the offense here, bringing it forward. Grimella trying to find a pass from Breezy, but Breezy just not in the correct position to score this point. Hits it on the lower side, almost there. The offense from UCLA is just so close, but Soren is just barely stopping it, as with a little bit of help from Eminent Mouse, but it's not going to be enough help as Grimella showing the strike war prowess. And who is the better midfielder? It's looking like Grimella, level 5, ending the set a little bit above, and now I'm actually curious how this draft's going to play out. Goes in front of the era here, so it's going to be Breezy first pick.
Stagger.
But then the double pick from E.T. Han and Soren going to be coming back here. I mean, this is a pretty interesting draft one.
Interesting. I would have opted for the Stagger Swagger personally. I feel like the value is going to be insane, but the early insurance from Sparks can't be understated, and it leaves up Stagger Swagger an extra special for his era, which he does pick up. Seriously, Grimella that last set, though, could not lose a strike war. I had my eyes peeled. I was singing the praises of Eminent Mouse, but then Grimella must have heard me. He heard something. I don't think he lost a strike war in 5 or 6 straight interactions. Really impressive stuff. It did truly win them that set. We'll have to see if 3Z... I see. He's opted into the Spark. It makes so much more sense. Leadership was passed up, but a Mayor X, that's something I'd like to see more.
That is something I would like to see as well, and with your midfielder, Grimella, not running Spark, there's no point in leaving that at the backside for the enemies to kind of take, right? And Spark of Leadership going over now, but if 3Z Breezy can keep up this performance and just secure all the Sparks himself, I am not too worried. And Grimella getting that Stagger Swagger is definitely going to help keep the midfield stabilized overall, right? Eminent Mouse getting that Spark of Leadership, like we said, which is going to be pretty good in the long run, at least with the contesting, but it's not going to be too much of a difference here. But as I say that, maybe the power difference here in E.T. Han versus 3Z Breezy going to be coming in clutch as he takes out Breezy. And now, I mean, UCLA is on the defensive here. 3Z Breezy spawning in 3 seconds. They need to hold a little bit longer, but Water Fury doing God's work and just holding for so long. Grimella somehow surviving as well, even though they were on 1 HP a little bit earlier, and UCLA are coming back for a vengeance.
They are, and Grimella is marshaling the core in such a way with Water Fury, who I once again want to shout out. We're not saying his name too much because it feels like he's always making the correct decisions with Grimella supporting him as well. I seriously think that this goalie play from Water Fury cannot be understated. Lakeland, Etion, and Eminent Mouse have absolutely sliced up every single team they've gone against, but Water Fury cannot be held, needs the core flip to take him out. Now it's an open map as Eminent Mouse is bringing the ball up. Grimella, a great dribble off the top to make sure they don't lose control. Now Grimella once again with the beam, but Etion is in the net, and he 1-2 punches that guy. Don't mean the trading, I mean ult, flip ult. Really nicely played by Etion, making sure he has that pressure down. You don't need to be able to score the goal one-on-one if you punch the goalie into the goal first.
I mean, yeah, just kind of taking the easy road there. Says, hey, I don't need to score, I will just kill you. But the same route now, 3Z Breezy on this next point, trying to do the same thing, but can't finish the job and actually gets low for it. So Etion managing to survive there. But at the same time, Grimella just takes both barriers. So, I mean, great job from 3Z there to be a big distraction for his midfielder to just take everything on the side of Lakeland, right? And now 3Z soaking so much pressure. If he can survive here, which sadly he does not, Soren manages to find that KO on the backside. But with that, I mean, UCLA just have so much tempo, so they should be able to hold at least one of these barriers.
Lakeland's doing a great job too. I mentioned it in the draft, but I was surprised that 3Z didn't opt into that Chrono Boost start, or not Chrono Boost, Stagger Swagger. Soren is doing a really good job of, one, holding his open net, but two, trading the damage on 3Z Breezy. 3Z has double spark with power, but Soren is not faltering. He does a really good job of trading damage and making sure he's keeping up his defensive tools, and he's just also not losing the strikes, walking forward there at the goal arc to make sure he's not trapped with the ult strike ult. But sometimes all it takes is a simple punch down the middle from Grimella. So they're not able to stop that one, but Soren is making a lot of correct decisions here, and I think it's why UCLA is getting stonewalled harder. This Lakeland team does look a lot more secure with a more defensively oriented good goalie. I think that's why we're seeing the Asher ban and why we're also seeing that resurgence. Soren is making sure that his team isn't going down without a fight, and Etihan and Eminent Mouse, they do look rejuvenated this set.
Yeah, I mean, they've had signs of life really this whole series. They are not giving up. They want that second ring Vaughn as they get both of the barriers early and find the KO. And another KO. I mean, this is what happened that first set, right? That one point with Grimella going down twice in a row, and now it looks like Lakeland are on the up and up, but can 3Z Breezy and Water Fury have this defense? 3Z has the flip just in case, and it's looking safe for now. They managed to keep it forward. Water Fury now looking a little bit spooked in the back, but should be able to heal up and fight back this X. Needs to be careful of the X farming this corporate, though, with these dribbles, trying to get it, but Grimella coming back and dribbling it up the field instead, winning that strike where, yet again, as we keep saying over and over again, 3Z Breezy finding the interaction when, against Soren, looking for the bull rush, can't find the save, or sorry, can't find the goal. Soren finds that save. Well done from Soren to just keep Lakeland's chances alive, but the X Maximus comes back on cooldown in the perfect sense to get another goal. I mean, last point and this point, the synergy from 3Z Breezy and Grimella, just from Grimella to know when the X has that ultimate and to play it into him instead of trying to find a goal on their own, just looking so perfect right now.
I do say, this Grimella guy just knows where he needs to get the ball to 3Z. I love watching these two play, but he also knows now to not avoid the edge. That's not the first time we've seen him punished for that. Lakeland's best chances are when Grimella's greed on the edge is being punished. Now Soren's up in the front, a little trading of the Mako abilities results in the goal. Eminent Mouse with the NATO! Oh, but the UCLA with the save! It's still a power play, so it might still go in, but Etihan not as successful against Water Fury in the conversions, but bang! The dash punch looking like Juliet. That was such a satisfying way to score. This Eminent Mouse guy is just, I mean, Midwest lore, Tornado Valley is just ripping apart UCLA, especially Grimella. He's going to have to make sure he's not getting hit by any more of those, or else these sets are going to slip out of UCLA's fingers.
Hey, as a resident of the Midwest myself as well, I get that. I mean, those tornado sirens are going off right now for UCLA as Eminent Mouse is finding so many of them, but finally the revenge, actually, 3Z Breezy going to be punching Eminent Mouse away for the KO here and getting a power play of their own. Doesn't really get anything for it, but a little bit of tempo and another KO. I mean, 3Z's had enough of Eminent Mouse right now, does not want anything to do with these tornadoes, but Soren finally putting that crazy X-player away. Grimella now has to do everything himself, but can only find a couple dribbles. Water Fury now needs to be careful, almost going down, losing the barrier instead, but you have to take that and try to defend where you can, as Etihan is looking so scary whenever it gets anywhere close to him. Grimella now is up, needs to get this barrier. UCLA have to find something because Etihan trapped in a cage over there like a wild animal he is. I mean, looking really scary, finding that dribble, finding the secondary, almost gets the goal there onto Water Fury, but a great save. And then another one on the other side. UCLA, they're just going bang for bang, buck for buck right now on either side. But Etihan is the one who gets the set win, finally finds the last straw. Water Fury kind of being a little preemptive there with the core flip strike, and Etihan just swatting it back in his face.
Yeah, he said, get that out of there, Matumbo lore. Just
yeah.
Absolutely rejects it back in his face. And for their efforts, they're going to get a quick strike as their first pick. I think this is the training that you want as any of these 6 players. Lakeland has battled it back. Etihan really put on a show, by the way, that set. He got a lot of unstaggered knockback kills with his X primary, as well as making sure he was converting against Water Fury, who, I want it to be clear, Water Fury may be level 7, but he is playing incredibly well. I think it's more to the point where Grimella is marshalling the midfield well enough that when he's punished by the excellent Eminent Mouse and Etihan on staggered kills, that Water Fury finally gets a crack at defending. And in that power play situation, Lakeland is truly quite efficient at making sure that they utilize their cooldowns to get the goal as soon as it's possible.
Yeah, they're definitely looking very good at that. But, I mean, another UCLA, start off there, looking super strong. Ooh, great pass there from Grimella to actually clear it back. A little scary, but trust the goalie to get it done. Grimella now running this midfield, like you said, even more, trying to, make Water Fury's job as easy as possible by getting the core to 3Z over and over again. But Water Fury, when he needs to, like we saw right there, can hold it down. 3Z Breezy on the same side. I guess Soren can kind of hold it down too, holding 3Z Breezy as well as he can this game. But it doesn't matter. The 1v1 goal there, 3Z with the double pass into this himself there on the top corner, right? The dribble into the X Maximus strike reset onto the top side. It's kind of just going, they're just going bang for bang here, Vaughn.
I think a big difference, too, in the fact that UCLA has a bit more of an offensive pressure is that E.T. Han's elected into the Van Braces, while 3Z has the slick kicks, which it's coming in a lot because when we see the slick kick speed pop in, it's hard for Soren to keep up, as opposed to Water Fury can sort of match the E.T. Han movement speed. But E.T. Han doesn't want to hear any of that. He doesn't need the speed. He's got the power. He's got the strike wars. That was just, he just blew apart UCLA's defense. It was just like, little pig, let me come in, big bad wolf style. One huff and their house was just blown down. E.T. Han, making sure that I'm not the only, person talking about 3Z, making sure he's on the board as well. This X, seriously, this is a great game. I think both sides are just punching on all cylinders.
Yeah, punching on all cylinders. As we see now, UCLA come right back at it, get both barriers immediately. And I guess one of the things you're talking about, just to finish your point, right? The Van Braces versus slick kicks. One thing that I've definitely noticed this game is E.T. Han is virtually unkillable, right? Unless you're finding a random tornado kill or 3Z Breezy comes back and finds, an edge kill KO off the side with the X Maximus, it is very difficult. Water Fury cannot kill E.T. Han, does not have enough damage, as the Van Braces just have so much potential here. But another core flip here as E.T. Han does the same thing again with the X Maximus, just puts it in. That looked like deja vu there, Vaughn.
I swear I'm seeing the same thing. Was this the guy there at Quick Strikes? I can't remember, but it feels like he did. Dude, this guy always has, it's interesting because stylistically these teams are quite different. The mirror match, sure, you could argue that it's the same gameplay, but Eminent Mouse and Soren play a lot more in a 2v1 style in the back half, while Etion sits in the front. While Grimella and 3Z, Tornado Valley strikes as I'm saying that. Tornado Valley as well, Grimella, 3Z, making sure that they're able to get this business done. Water Fury's coming up to help. It's a 3-on-1. Soren has the flip, able to clear it and stall for his teammate. 3Z Breezy is able to find it now. Soren with back and forth from Grimella, looking for the pass to Water Fury, takes the dribble himself instead, has that NATO charging and the core flip. Let's see if he can get the ball back up front. 3Z has a breakaway, dribbles off the Atlas Lab pillar, dribbles down to Grimella. Grimella has the flip, looking for the pass. No, takes the shot. Can't find it with Soren denying it with Water Fury in the back now. Eminent Mouse looking to replicate that same offensive pressure that Grimella just did with E.T. Han. But 3Z's once again dribbling. He's on the fast break, taking it 1-2 to the hole. Can't find it himself, but Slick Kicks is fully active as Soren isn't falling for any of those fake outs. Now it's E.T. Han's turn to do it. Isn't able to quite find it yet, but Soren has been able to back him up. Now Eminent Mouse and Water Fury back together. 3Z Breezy. Now the ball is just going in between the midfield and forwards' hands. 3Z has that. What a NATO from Eminent Mouse! Huge energy denial, making sure that 3Z can't continue that offensive pressure. E.T. Han, I've seen it once, I've seen it twice. Oh, he doesn't need to. It's just in. Eminent Mouse slides it in. Lakeland is up 2-1. How did that happen? Eminent Mouse with the tornadoes. That was insane.
I mean, it just felt like UCLA had so much pressure all series, and then all of a sudden on each of these points, something like some fire would just erupt from E.T. Han or from Eminent Mouse. They'd find a kill, or they'd find just some sort of offensive pressure and then just put it in, right? Just so incredibly difficult. Grimella definitely not getting involved as much at that point, as Eminent Mouse finding so many more tornado kills and so many more passes over to E.T. Han. As E.T. Han gets the first pick, gets rewarded with it, gets that extra size, going to be helping so much. But the prime time going over to 3Z Breezy. But one thing actually to know here I think is definitely a big deal is the Castellas going over to the Era. Finally, a training for the Era to work with. Keep in mind, by the way, I feel like Grimella's had the way better build this entire game, but Eminent Mouse still managing to stay in, I guess, in contention here with the other Era, with not a bigger tornado, not as long of a strike range. Unfortunate there. I don't really know how Soren got down there. I don't know where he went there. Something is happening. I don't know what's going on. E.T. Han's looking incredibly low, but managing to survive for now, has the Van Braces, so should be able to live, as 3Z Breezy and Grimella are now the ones actually getting low. The backwards NATO there, I believe that was from Grimella, actually. I think it was red. Looking here, E.T. Han just converting everything, though, Vaughn.
It's true, he can't be stopped, and you're right, he is unkillable. That was nasty! I'm gonna say it, that was nasty. Water Fury is gonna have to be Etion's son for that point. That was a nice goal. Like, he couldn't win it straight up because he didn't have his ult reset anymore, and he only had his primary, so he used the Bell Ringer to dribble, making Water Fury looking dizzy. That was a good conversion. Lakeland's got all the momentum right now.
Yeah, Lakeland having a lot of momentum, and even more so now that Etion is finding another KO. One thing to note here is Gramella's playing on the edge so much right now because I think he took that knife's edge, so he's trying to outplay and use the move speed, but I mean, X does not care. If he is in range of you, he will punch you off the side of the map. As we see Gramella coming back up, great saves from Water Fury to stop this for now. As Breezy now is the one looking in trouble. Back pass here to set up the tornado, but it's an up nade, not a down one. That looked a little bit crazy. As almost gets it done, but Etion feels like he is just running this entire game, coming back to kill Breezy, going forward to take these berries and punish Water Fury. So hard for UCLA to play this game right now when it feels like God is on the other team.
It really does, and he is choosing to smite down Gramella. Evan and Mouse and Etion are breathing down this guy's neck. Gramella is finally getting punished for his greedy play at the edge of the map. We're seeing so many unstaggered kills, and when Gramella is left to operate, I mean, he's taken over like he is now, but as soon as the kill comes down on him, the gates get opened up, and it's up to Breezy and Gramella to make sure that they're able to score before Etion gets that flip. He's got almost enough energy for it right now. Oh, Water Fury, just a little short of the clear. He was a little too slow. His character didn't have the move speed. Etion is just slotting it in, and just elite strike placement from Etion every goal to make sure these are going in this first game of the reset.
You know, I never thought I'd say this, Spawn, but I am glad that we're watching an Era X Mako right now. This is the most entertaining Era X Mako I've ever seen. There's so many tornado kills. There's so many just like random X kills off the side. This is exciting. This isn't just a core control battle over and over again. This is just explosive plays from both sides. And currently, Lakeland are the ones on top, as they are on this map point right now. And this would be absolutely huge here for them to set this bracket reset, to start it off right. You know, because UCLA doesn't have a bracket reset of their own to recover. They need to go now. They need to keep the momentum, and currently they're losing it as Lakeland keeps the ball forward. Water Fury has to use the flip to stop it for now. And whoa, I think that was the heavy impact shrink there from the Era, actually. That just straight up killed Gramella and then just puts it in on the bottom corner. Lakeland finding a map and finding a resurgence here in this bracket reset block.
This looks like the Lakeland I know. It's also a power play to challenge UCLA on the Era X mirror. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't do that against soon-to-be strikers, which is essentially UCLA, right? Like, that is a bold move. These guys are known for their Era X, and I really think it came down to the fact that, I'll say it, Eminent Mouse and Etion farmed Gramella that game. I've got to say it. I love Gramella. I love his play. I think when he was alive, he was doing an excellent job. But I can't overstate the fact that even though he does such a good job as the midfield, the amount of unstaggered kills that the forward pair of Lakeland found was just overwhelming, and it left the side of UCLA in an X Mako 3v2. That's really hard to deal with. So serious props to Eminent Mouse with those insane nados. Those were set winning nados that he had. And then Etion electing for the Vambrace to start, which I've given it some thought. I actually do like it. He's got Mako speed. He's got Era speed. The only reason he's struggling is if he stays alive. And Breezy really opting away from that, taking the slick kicks and skipping Stagger Swagger in that first set. I think it did show the difference. I'm talking about staggered kills on Gramella, but what I'm not talking about is the unstaggered, the staggered kills on Breezy. It seemed like a lot of times that UCLA would just fumble into some KOs, and Lakeland did a fantastic job of punching, with Etion always converting. Like, that guy, he just always got the ball in the right spot, and he put it in. Eminent Mouse really was setting up for success. So this is exactly what we wanted from Grands. I'm so glad they took that time to recompose themselves. That first AtLab game was such a stomp that I was worried it might go the same way. But that's a man mode play, locking in the mirror and saying you're the better team, and Lakeland just proved it there for it.
Yeah, I mean, looking incredible on that one. If you look at the KOs, actually, for those who might have missed it, 10 KOs for Etion, whereas the other X for Breezy only 4. And then one thing to actually, shout out here, the Tornado Valley, as you were talking about in game, 6 KOs for Eminent Mouse.
Insane.
I think one of them was at the end. So it was 5 tornado kills, I believe, for Eminent Mouse, and then 1 beam kill at the end. But that's with no Monumentalist at all.
Yeah.
No Monu, no Timeless. It was just the raw Tornado catching Breezy, and then Gramella, I think, 2 or 3 times with that Nado. looking incredible. I mean, Eminem Mouse managing to stay relevant. That was something I was worried about at the beginning of the game, was Grimella taking over, right, on this midfield era, which has kind of felt like it was going to be the decider. But ET Han and Eminem Mouse both, I think, kind of diffing the counterparts a little bit. Like you said, I do believe the biggest thing in that game was the slick kicks instead of the Van Braces on the 3Z Breezy instead of Etion, right? So the slick kicks, I feel like if 3Z ran Van Braces, maybe he wouldn't have got as many, many plays that he did get with that speed. But at the same time, he probably wouldn't have died as much. Now, we get into this next game here, Vaughn. Night Market. Anything you're looking here, I believe it is a recovery drone team player start. So anything you're looking to change here as we see a Kazan ban.
I'm expecting a now from the side of Grimella. I think it matches up nicely into the kitten comp that they're doing. Please, okay, one was enough. No, not the second, the salty run back. I mean, we got through it once and it was enjoyable, but this is really reminding me of the Dubu Cup. I don't know how I feel about this. I really felt like, and maybe I'm wrong for this, but in Grand Finals first set, it felt like when Grimella was on a character that had more offensive pressure, it just looked better at breaking the barriers. Maybe I'm wrong for this. It is something that they're known for, but something with a little bit more hit stun, and the now matches up quite nicely into the Era and X would have been something I like to see, but maybe I'll be proven wrong. Stylistically, though, I do want to point out something really important, and I think it's going to be game-changing. Grimella went for recovery drone, but Emin and Mouse went for team player, which I think is better. Now, you could argue maybe Grimella will get more use out of his recovery drone, respectfully. It's Josh. But I seriously think this, and we haven't seen it yet, but I am of the strong opinion that team player on midfield is actually one of the best trainings you can get on Night Market. If Emin and Mouse can replicate how well he set up ET Han in that first game, this training difference will mean something for him.
Yeah, and another thing too, speaking of trainings, we have the Van Braces versus Slick Kicks once again, but this time is a little different. 3Z Breezy has that recovery drone. It's already saved him once, so it's not going to save him again, but he already did his job as he got both barriers there with that extra speed and with the help from Grimella. But ET Han is cooking, winning Strike Wars, but Water Fury denies it for now. Eminem Mouse trying to keep it up. But a great job from Grimella and Water Fury there to actually deny ET Han from making that play and actually taking the recovery drone off of him.
Ooh.
So now it's only a matter of time before UCLA find that. That was like a little bit of a flick.
Yep, that was a bit of a Borg flick on the air.
I
was
flick on the era.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. He primaried the ball as it was like going past him, and then he had the time to strike it because he doesn't have the power yet. That was really interesting. You don't really see that too much on air. It's kind of hard to do in niche, but hey, shout out to my co-caster there. That looked like you on Zendaro, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually do that on a lot more characters than a lot of people might think. Octavia being another one that I see a lot of people do, or mainly Joker do, but, you know, not too many Octavia players out there. But definitely a piece of tech that you want to master. Another one that you want to master when you're playing this X is that dash punch, right? That secondary into X Maximus strike, getting another KO. 3Z Breezy finding his second one of the game. And now it just feels like Lakeland is slowly falling as Grimella and 3Z Breezy looking so comfortable on this Night Market.
Yeah, we saw this in the first game too. I'm not going to count out Lakeland quite yet because we saw this first set on the Atlas Lab go the same way. We'll have to see what pans out as the trainings start to fall. But 3Z Breezy making sure that he's staying healthy. But Grimella, as I say that, is able to take it alone solo. He scored the first 2 goals, something that isn't usual against a defensive goalie like Mako, but if someone's going to do it, it is Grimella. My pick for the strongest midfielder potentially in the entire league. So UCLA off to a strong start off of Grimella, and notably, Borg still has his recovery drone, so there may be a bit of causation there.
I mean, I think Grimella realizes the mistakes early on. Played a little bit too I guess, aggressive on the side there, but one person that's definitely playing aggressive as well to their own benefit is 3Z Breezy, just putting on all gas, no brakes here. Doesn't have a recovery drone, does not care, is just putting it in the faces of Soren and Eminent Mouse, punching both barriers and punching the goal for that set win. Starting off strong, like you said, we can't count out Lakeland yet, but with this draft getting quick strikes, I mean, it's looking a little bit scarier than I think it was last game.
Yeah, quick strikes, rapid fire. In the mirror, like we said in that first game, the trainings really matter. You have the same tools, you have the same base cooldown, so the only difference other than your gameplay is going to come from the awakenings. This is crazy that wow, UCLA just got away with some highway robbery. I will say this, it never comes down to training diff. It never does. I need it to be very clear. I'm going to get really heated about this board before anyone says it's drafted. The better team always wins the best of 3, so I don't want to hear it chat. But UCLA is really poised for a win off of that first carousel.
Yeah, getting some standard really good awakenings for their characters, like with the quick strikes and with the rapid fire. But, I mean, you can't really count out Lakeland. Like you said, the better team always wins, but it's not like they got nothing, right? I mean, 1-2 punch is definitely not weak on X, and the Castle Ass definitely, I mean, always been a very strong pick on the era. The aerials going to be kind of going, you know, mirroring Water Fury's Twin Drive here and helping buff up the secondaries for the Mako. So it's not like they got nothing. They just got slightly worse things. At the quick strikes, I think, is the best pick of this draft here, looking so incredibly good. And now Breezy actually almost finding another KO, but finds the KO in the end with the flip. I'm surprised the knockback took him that far. Eminent Mouse is just struggling right now against the X.
It is. With Grimella and Breezy now marshalling up for this play, we're going to see if Soren and Etikon can hold. He does have a defensive flip. Ops for it is not able to get a cheeky kill at as well. Couldn't have his, you know, pie and eat it too. But Eminent Mouse and Etikon with the spawn have an offensive play of their own. Wow! Whoa! That pass was crazy! Eminent Mouse and Etikon, I think they might score here. Soren has a flip to get it back to his brawler if they need to. Etikon's in position. This is the Lakeland Classic. We'll see if Water Fury can make sure they stop it, but I was wrong! Grimella once again scores another goal despite Eminent Mouse's crazy pass. Grimella always able to find a little chink in Soren's armor. He's able to slide the dagger right in and make sure that that's a goal going on the side of UCLA.
I mean, that's the second, actually technically third, but second in the same way goal there when you know, Grimella finding that little angle, that little opening on that top side. It would be the bottom side for them, but in this POV, it is that top side, right? And so Grimella, I mean, I think just playing so much better now, kind of going back in the form we normally see him in this recovery drone, as you were saying earlier, finally down for Grimella, you know, getting damaged a bit there from Soren, Etion, and Eminent Mouse, all three kind of respectfully, but Breezy now is pretty much untouched, still has the recovery drone and still has so much pressure and is just trying to lay it down. There you go, finally coming in with the X Maximus, getting that last barrier and almost putting it in, but Soren doing a great job recovering even though the barrier goes down. Soren now needs to defend, but it doesn't matter as the core flip in front of the net was an X. There's not really too much you can do. You kind of just have to call out when they're going to strike, and Soren could not win the coin flip there as Sleazy Breezy has the game in his hands, gets that second point, and UCLA are on a bit of a run here.
I think we're seeing a difference, and I feel like I've identified it by now. It took me a while in that first set, but the map size is why I really think UCLA is playing much better. When the side of Lakeland was more spread out, they had more speed. Soren's been opting for these momentum boots. E.T. Han didn't have the slick kicks, but he didn't need to because the ball was getting in his hands. But now that there's the sheer geographic distance between the players is making it so that if Soren's able to clear it, Breezy gets another chance over and over, and he's not letting it up. The X Maximus, as I'm saying it, trying to make sure he gets that barrier, but Soren does a nice job holding. Grimella lives. Dance, young man, dance, gets out of there. Soren does a good job of holding that barrier alone. And now it's Eminent Mouse and E.T. Han's time to shine. Not able to find much. And see, that's what I'm saying. The offense is already pivoted back for UCLA. This map is just one offensive push out of the other. All it takes is one powerful strike, and the other goalie is on the back foot. Breezy has got his flip, Grimella's got his flip, Soren's got his flip. That's one of the three down. Now, Eminent Mouse is able to catch it, so the ball isn't going anywhere, but this Breezy is bull rushing his way into the net. Just wait until he uses it in conjunction with the flip, while E.T. Han waiting for the ball, not as able to be cured as much as before. Breezy opts to not use the flip on Eminent Mouse, instead saving with his pressure. Oh, what a strike! What a strike. I love that out of him. This should be a goal. Slotted in. He keeps the momentum on the strike, which is an important tool to keep track of. Breezy just had a beautiful X-Lore moment, and I don't mean by KOs. Core control matters too. Put that shot in, young man. MOBA death.
Hey, and gets rewarded too. Pretty much as a pick of the litter here, but I think is going to be taking the obvious best training here. Fight or flight. There it comes. Slick kicks, fight or flight X with recovery drone. It's hard to kill him. It's hard to contain him. I mean, and quick strikes too. You're right. It has pretty much unlimited. I mean, any X dreams of this build. And also, we have Grimella getting Monumentalist yet again, which I think is way stronger on Night Market. As you were saying earlier, the geographic location of this map compared to Atlas Lab, a lot less space to work with, which means there's a lot more space for the tornado to cover up, right? So with this bigger tornado, and with Breezy being able to strike for literally everything and everybody in the entire game, they are suited up here to get this game win and to bring it to map 3 on Amy Zap, which last time, as we saw, if they go there, they are looking incredibly dominant. So Lakeland need to find a resurgence here. They need to come back in this map while they still have a chance.
they do. They really do. UCLA has got to show that championship difference here. They're trying their best, but swatted out of the sky. The Monunado with X in the back is too much. They are barreling over Lakeland. They're on the back foot here. These training differences, I did say the better team always wins the best of 3, but in this one game, it just looks like Breezy and Grimella have been rewarded for their play, making sure that they're not dying on staggered as well. That is really the difference. They took a second, recomposed, and this Nightmark game is looking really solid for UCLA. As Etihan, though, I don't ever want to count on Lakeland. Etihan gets one. The beam to reset the offense, but isn't there quite yet. Soren wants to keep the ball alive. The Monunado strange bounce doesn't result in Etihan getting killed. Grimella decides to hold the flip, doesn't want to waste it on the KO just yet. Breezy now on offense, gets one, punches again. He's going to have the strike reset off the ult, not able to find it, but E.T. Hans had to burn his flip to live. Water Fury in the back, making sure he's not taking no for an answer. As the offense once again behind the Monunado. Eminent Mouse is a great play. Evades the Nado, gets the ball to E.T. Han. Wins one strike, or wins two, can't get the goal. Missed just slightly. E.T. Han, nice try. Soren's going to have to get it back to Eminent Mouse. While E.T. Han's elected to come back, something we haven't seen very much, but he's a little quick with the arrow speed, and the speed was in the middle of Night Market, so he can sneak it by Water Fury. He didn't have those cooldowns back. E.T. Han, good heads-up play, knew when to leave the box. It's a skill that brawlers have to master, and he just showed a heads-up play.
One thing that actually I want to point out here is Soren, playing a little bit differently at this point than he did the other ones, ran up a lot more on a lot of the offensive plays for Lakeland, just so they could keep the pressure up a lot more, which I think Soren as a player is very, very good at, even if he's playing at these bunker goalies like this Mako. But if he gets stuck on this backside, Breezy has so many tools to win and get these barriers, but it's actually Etihan that's going to be the one getting the barriers here, as Etihan is the one who's just putting it down. Water Fury's throw here, Water Fury struggling to keep it alive. Grimella has to come back to help, and they can finally clear it. And now, Lakeland, I mean, I guess they're listening. They really do not want to lose this game here, as they don't want to go back to this Amy Zap map. But Breezy has so many opportunities to outplay here, dribbling for now, waiting for Grimella to come up. Water Fury keeps it alive for now. Secondary into strike not going to be enough, as Soren is keeping it away from Breezy as best as he can. But as soon as he gets CT Hot, it feels like it goes in, and there we go! Water Fury does not get the flip there in time as the hit stun from the Bull Rush comes through.
That was a good heads-up play by E.T. Han. He knew the ball was already coming to him, so he knew that if he primed that Bull Rush up, the hit stun might be enough to get him the goal, which he does. Water Fury may or may not had the angle. I'm not entirely sure to core flip, but either way, you don't want to risk having that like buffer flip. So I can respect that. E.T. Han with a nice conversion. It is funny, we've been talking about how dominant UCLA is, but all of a sudden, it's a set point for Lakeland here. If Soren can hold this, which he's doing a good job of holding in the 1v1, I think Ramel's going to have to make sure he helps Breezy a bit more to convert on that last barrier, because Soren's a bit of an iron wall right now. I'm going to say it for it. He's not dropping this at all, and Eminent Mouse combined with him is making sure that they're always trying to keep Breezy contained as best as they can.
Yeah, I mean, Grimella definitely needs to be running forward a bit more, and that tornado might just be the one to
savable.
do it. But savable!
Oh my god,
somehow! I mean, I was going to say the same
savable.
thing. Goes down for it. Now E.T. Han and Eminent Mouse need to cover for him. Soren, after those heroics, you need your teammates to hold you for you here, and they're doing it so far. Soren up in 3 seconds. Breezy getting shrunk for now, and they will hold Vaughn after the heroics from Soren here. Just a complete iron wall. I don't even know how he saved that.
Oh my gosh! I mean, these strikes are so pristine, and E.T. Han on the other side. Oh my god, the strikes are so pristine. Everyone on Lakeland just ascended to Monk Lotus levels of strike warring. There's no way they just won that set for. God, that was so good. I mean, the save, and then E.T. Han strike wars 2 people like 3 times in a row on the back foot. Woo, Lakeland, seriously. I mean, I'm gonna say it does feel like it's almost anyone's game now. The better team truly always wins.
Better team does win. I mean, even with the training differences here, as we're seeing, we've been talking about, Lakeland still managed to just pull that one out of almost nowhere. But, you know, speaking of trainings and awakenings, the primetime and the spec now just going over to UCLA, they have literally everything they would ever want. They have everything they would ever want. They're full build, as I'll say. The only consolation is a little bit more speed from Eminent Mouse, and the spark of leadership with the spark of focus for E.T. Han going to be helping his team a little bit just with cooldowns to help hold. But, I mean, this is, in my opinion, UCLA's game to lose. But Lakeland is doing a pretty good job at making them lose right now, as they find some fire in them to just keep this game going. As we've seen time and time again, it feels like UCLA is just on the gas, when all of a sudden a tree appears in front of them, and that tree is E.T. Han getting almost every single opportunity, as Eminent Mouse and E.T. Han both finding the barriers now. Water Fury is just struggling to hold against him.
He is. Breezy now has a chance to do a bit of ET-Han cosplay. Oh, Water Fury. Oh, rare mistake. Wasn't able to clear it around ET-Han. ET-Han's size, I think, just offset him a little too much. He could have had a sharper angle. Wasn't able to find it. ET-Han just kind of slots that one home, takes the gimme for free. Rare misstep from Water Fury. It feels like, Borg, the nerves are setting it a little bit for UCLA. They have the game in their hands. They just have to finish it. They have all the tools they need, and it's a mirror match. You have the stronger trainings. You have the same characters. It's time for UCLA to make sure they lock in to force this game 3.
Locking in they are. Grimella decided to take games into his own hands. Gets it forward, gets both these barriers with the help of 3Z. 3Z now just trying to survive with this core flip. Very, very important to use this core flip to his advantage here. Going to be grabbing the orb. Oh, actually almost goes down from him and Mouse. I'm surprised he lived there. The tornado almost going to be putting it in at from Grimella. Soren is holding for now. Soren is putting on the performance of pretty much his lifetime so far. I mean, playing so incredibly well against the stunning forward duo from UCLA, but I'm speaking a little bit too soon. Caster Curse there, 3Z Breezy at 1 HP manages to find the play with the slick kicks into that top corner.
I know this guy's locked in, by the way, because he didn't emote. He just sat there for a second. He's actually focused up because if you've noticed, these emotes are going crazy, but as soon as that goal scored, instant stop. Like, both these teams are playing for keeps now, so really good heads-up primary by 3Z to make sure he gets it. But ET-Han, look, I'm going to be honest, Borg. I feel like the goalie diff this game, I've never really spoken about it too much for one side or the other, but Soren is really making UCLA work for it, and ET-Han feels like he's got Water Fury's number on this night market pick.
Yeah, and it feels bad too because I don't think Water Fury is necessarily playing bad. It just feels like ET-Han, like you said, has his number. He kind of is predicting what he's going to do here, but not that time. Water Fury learning a little bit, calling him out on that top side. Going to keep it safe for now. Grimella trying to, make Water Fury's job a bit easier, winning these strike wars and keeping it forward for now. Water Fury needs to just cool the nerves, like you said. You're in a good position. You made it all the way here, so you got to finish it now. ET-Han with the X Maximus going to be trying to put it in, but Water Fury finally feels like bossing up a little bit and getting it forward to his forwards. Breezy now has the core flip in a really dangerous position, but the Maka will going to be insanely powerful for Soren, who's just, like you said, putting up an insane performance and just kind of gapping the forwards of UCLA a majority of this game. Grimella and Breezy now need to help each other. They need to play with each other to get this thing here. Okay, Breezy using that core flip, not going to matter, puts it in no matter what, even if he wins or loses that strike war. So I actually don't mind the usage of the core flip. And they're on map point here, Vaughn.
This is it. This is where the champions are decided. Either you lose here and go to the set 5, or you force the final game 3. Grimella and 3Z off to a fast start, not able to find it. Soren, careful with that flip. Oh, but isn't able to get it off in time. Grimella has the chance to seal it away with 3Z. Water Fury also has a flip, maybe looking for an offensive play, but 3Z gets his recovery drone popped. Water Fury does not suffer the sins of Soren, is able to get it out, but Grimella has an open net. He has a Monunado maybe in the back pocket. We'll have to see, but ET-Han wants to make sure the game isn't over yet, but it's up to Grimella and Water Fury to get the ball to Freeze's hands. Has the speed, marshalling up with the Aeronado, has the ult reset, he's got it! It's going to game 3, Borg, it's going to game 3. UCLA managed to stop the slide down that slippery slope. It's game 3, back to the app again, and we've got one final game for CCL Season 2.
Yeah, and I was a little worried. I feel like after that set whip from Lakeland, it felt like they finally got the momentum back on their side, right? ET-Han was just calling out Water Fury over and over again, but that last set, it felt like Water Fury finally, stopped the hands from shaking a little bit, right? Cooled the nerves, took a deep breath, and managed to lock in just to finish that game up, and now they're going to get rewarded by going on. I mean, at least compared to, looking back at last series, right? With that last time I played Amy's app, probably their most dominant map right now, as we're seeing. So, what are you looking for? I guess my question here is, Vaughn, what are the changes we're going to need to see from Lakeland in order to secure this Amy's app here? What can they do to not get slaughtered like they did last time?
So I think their best bet is to ban Rasmus and take the Kitten comp. And by the Kitten comp, I mean Mako Era X. I think ET-Han looks the best on X. I know he has a pretty good Julie. Maybe they could opt into that as well. They haven't played that yet, but I seriously think they should go with the X. I know they don't like Kazan. They've banned it all the time from 3Z, but I seriously don't think you can give him Rasmus. Now, the other option, now this is something that I like as a goalie. For people not at home, I do dabble in a bit of goalie play myself. One option they haven't done, I'm not sure how Soren has practiced on it, they could put Soren on Rasmus fully. It is a character he can play. We've seen it many times, and I think it's actually a really good pick. It's just difficult to pilot and not the strongest character. Also not a defensive pick, which I think if Lakeland opts away from is incredibly risky. But sometimes when your back's against the wall, hey, I like feeling like I'm him, okay? Well, I put on the I'm him hat, I put on the I'm him shirt, and I lock in the carry character. I love doing that as well. Soren might opt into that, but I really, really don't think you either have to ban the Rasmus or you have to mirror it. There's no other option. It was the most one-sided game I've seen all playoffs, and that's probably not what you want from grand finals. And I think that Eminent Mouse and Etihan really are performing on the picks. The issue is that Era just not my favorite character on the app. So that's where I'd go, Borg. I think the Rasmus has to go, or you have to pick it. And I think they showed their cards too early. I think by not mirroring it, Sundubu knows. UCLA, pardon me. It's hard not to mix the teams up. I think UCLA is aware that they've got that Rasmus edge. And if Rasmus is banned, they'll get probably something like Kazan Drek, which does sound scary. That's a lot of pressure. And Breezy Breezy, I don't know if you guys have all been watching his Kazan, but it is quite nice. So it's definitely disadvantaged for Lakeland, but I feel like that's all I've said. And Lakeland time and time again has just put it on the table and made sure, like, hey, we're the defending champs. All right, let's make one thing clear. They are definitely on the back foot. Like, I feel like their disadvantageous drafts they've overcome were really, really, really inspiring, honestly. It's anyone's game for it.
Yeah, and this is where it's going to matter, right? I mean, bracket reset first time, that did not matter at all. All it did was bring UCLA a little bit closer, but Lakeland has been in the same spot this whole time, and they've been standing strong. I mean, they have been holding firm. They've been making every single point, in my opinion, pretty difficult for UCLA here. So we're going to have to see if they can finally hold a little bit. It's going to be a recovery drone and Spark of Agility start, actually. So another recovery drone start, which, you know, I mean, it helped 3Z last game, as we saw very well there. Only went down a couple times, and look, they're listening to your advice here, Vaughn, banning the Rasmus, which means we might see a Kazan here for 3Z Breezy. And one thing that I actually agree with you on is I definitely don't think, actually, I'm not sure if you said that here exactly, but I don't think I want to see the Era on this map. I want to see Eminem Mouse on that Estelle. You were saying earlier how he looks really strong on the character. I want to see him on the Estelle. I want to see something explosive. I want to see Lakeland do something that maybe they've never done before, and they're hovering it here. I mean, not the X, but the Drakkar for Eminem Mouse here.
Yeah. I'm interested to see the
X.
Drakkar. I don't think I've seen Eminem Mouse play this character in quite a while. I know he has one, but I'm curious why they elect into the Ditto. Interesting choice by them. And then the now on the other side, combo with the recovery drone. That's going to be a lot of survivability that we haven't really seen for the side of UCLA yet. The Mako, I understand both sides electing to do it. It's going to come down to this midfield dev. I do like the extra the kill pressure from Drakkar. If he opts into the pummelers, a little bit awkward because he will have to use his primary against the now to win core control. So he kind of wants both sides, and he's not going to get either. And the last thing I'm going to mention is Gramella now. I really do think he is one of the greatest nows in North America. So this is a statement game from him. This is a statement game from Lakeland. Let's see who can take it home. This is the final game of CCL. It's where the champion is decided. Will it be UCLA on arguably the best losers run potentially of all time, going through every top-seeded team, or will Lakeland, the kings of collegiate, once again reclaim the throne and add another ring to the hands? Let's see how it goes down here, Borg.
Yeah, I mean, if UCLA win this, they will be doing a Sad Boys-esque run, might I say. Shout out to the co-caster here for being lower seed. Not lowest seed, obviously, there's 20 teams in there, but 7th seed now going into the grand finals and winning, whereas Sad Boys obviously is the 6th seed going into the grand finals and winning. So they've done basically everything they needed to do except put this one away. And Breezy Breezy starting off strong here, putting away E.T. Han there on the X mirror. Waterfree going to find the save for now, and Breezy Breezy posturing for a core flip here in the net. Going to be slapping away the core flip from Soren, but cannot find anything on their own. Now needs to be careful, looking incredibly low. Gramella does not have the ultimate to save him, forced to use the core flip early, and now UCLA are actually on the back foot a little bit, but Gramella is doing his best on this now. Gramella now unleashed, trying to keep this forward as long as possible. Core flip from Mouse. Ooh, looked really, really good, but Water Fury read it perfectly and managed to find the save. And Gramella actually getting KO'd, but I believe, I'm not even sure what KO'd ET on back there. Maybe it was like, I think Water Fury's primary there. I'm not sure I caught that, but they're on a power play nonetheless. Grimella now trying to put this one in, but great saves from Soren. Soren is locked in, as you said, from last game. Still does not want to lose, playing incredibly well. And Water Fury and Grimella need to find a way to get this one forward, but they can't, as the Eminent Mouse and Etihan forward duo just looks so crisp there.
It did, and Eminent Mouse did a really good job of composing himself. Saw that Grimella didn't position properly, could slot the pass to X after Water Fury burn all of his cooldown. Etihan, we've seen all set, all honestly grand finals. He is really elite at putting the ball in the pocket if the goalie can't get to it in time.
Yeah, I mean, just so well played so far. Grimella now is going to be respawning. Nothing too much going to be happening on that power play for Lakeland. Actually, you know, in a way, it's actually ended up a little bit worse. Soren actually has no energy now, and Grimella getting put back on the energy bar of, or excuse me, I'm back on that one energy bar rather. 3C Breezy actually going to be making a critical mistake there, getting it a little bit behind there. Water Fury finding another KO. Water Fury looks like actually turning it up this match, trying to, you know, take away those nerves and get back to what they were playing like before earlier today. Just, I mean, putting away all of these forwards over and over again. Breezy, Grimella. I mean, this game's looking a little bit more slower paced than it was last time around, as it makes sense, a little bit of slower comps. Nothing too crazy. The Mako for Soren has just been looking so incredibly good. Still has the recovery drone out as well. Water Fury flipping it forward. Breezy finally hitting the barrier after an entire minute of play. Etihan trying to put it in, doing what he does best, but Water Fury, I mean, finally doing so incredibly well. Soren getting it right back to Etihan, and Eminent Mouse right back to Etihan, trying to give him as many chances as possible, but Grimella is holding firm, trying to keep Water Fury life to be a little bit easier. Breezy trying to cook with that X Maximus, but can't find it. Eminent Mouse with the core flip, but a great ultimate from the Mako there, actually keeps it at bay. Eminent Mouse now looking incredibly well. Breezy has the core flip into that top corner. Soren can't hold him for this long. It's been 2 minutes. I mean, Breezy finally finds the angle and puts it in.
I mean, this is a map known for its KOs, and the most KOs I've seen have come out from Water Fury, believe it or not. Otherwise, these X's are constantly testing Soren and Water Fury. Etihan and Breezy are making these goalies work for these goals, and I'm going to be honest, Borg, I can't tell who's advantaged right now. Even though we're not in this mirror match, both teams... Etihan is the one that's advantaged. Nice pass, Etihan! He gets 2 KOs. Critical for this first set. It's always a gamble of who's going to get a nice edge. Etihan wants to be the one with it in his hands.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised even at the beginning of this game we're seeing the X mirror. I mean, Etihan obviously looking, you know, being incredibly strong on the pick and has been playing it so well this season. But Breezy, I'm surprised he didn't lock in that Kazan, right? As we've been talking about, but maybe, you know, maybe the ego got the best of him. Maybe he just wants to finish the series on Old Faithful, the X here, showing who is boss in Grimella. Helping out right now with taking out Etihan and surviving now. Breezy managing to actually stay alive for now. Water Fury doing so much better. It's doing so well with the cage across the map and the primary, putting Etihan away. Breezy finally finds the KO. Eminent Mouse going to spawn for now, but it gives Grimella just enough time to layer the strike with the primary. Soren can't do anything else, and it finally goes in. UCLA tied up at 2-2.
Dude, I can't handle this. I feel like the KOs come out of nowhere. I feel like the saves are being held incredibly well. It just, every time there's an offensive play, Water Fury and Soren are buckling down. Eminent Mouse and Grimella both had key eliminations. It's just back and forth and back and forth. Breezy is going to make sure he's dribbling it up, forces a flip out and the ult, as Water Fury isn't able to duplicate the same kind of save, both X's doing the X Maximus, but Eminent Mouse has the lock-in load combo at the edge of the hole, and he punishes it. We've seen it time and time again this series. MNN Mouse is able to find key eliminations on Grimella, something no other team has been punishing as hard. He's a big X factor, and I don't mean the character, Chad, I mean the reason that Lakeland is taking home this first set.
Yeah, Lakeland getting rewarded here, kind of gets the pick of the litter here, but, you know, a little bit of a consolation prize is the double pick for UCLA in this draft. Heavy impact's going to be very, very critical with the cooldowns, and also just with the further knockback, right? I mean, the impact on the mine is going to be helping a lot, but one thing, I mean, that's going to be a little bit scary here, Vaughn. In the hands of Etihan lies specialized training now. This guy has gotten so many random unstaggered KOs with, you know, X on the side of the map with that X Maximus. And now with spec training, as we're seeing here, trying to get a cheese KO here already on Breezy, maybe jumping the gun a little bit, but already, you know, half health chunking him, done his job. going to be looking for a little bit of an advantage, but actually is the one who's looking low himself. So this game, so hard to read, so back and forth. I have no clue who is going to get the advantage first. We'll have to see, as Grimella and Mouse are kind of just doing a little bit of a midfield war here. 3Z Breezy with the X-Maxes can't put away ET Han, or at least get his recovery drone. And this is just back and forth, but I'd say a little bit of an edge to Lakeland so far.
Oh, for sure. I think 3Z should have been able to kill ET Han there, but wasn't able to find it. Oh, but 3Z is making sure that he has standing on business. Soren has a good evade. ET Han isn't able to convert. That's a great hold from Water Fury with just his strike. Lots of patience. But Eminent Mouse able to win that midfield interaction against Grimella. Gets another chance. ET Han's in front of it. Isn't sure where to go, so dumps it off to Eminent Mouse, but now 3Z Breezy's dribbling. We're going to see if these two can combine. Grimella, 3Z have been playing together. I mentioned Lakeland being together for so long, but these two have been on the same team for years. Their offensive synergy is off the charts. Let's see what 3Z can do. Isn't able to find much. Water Fury has to flip out of respect for ET Han. He's going to lock in. Oh, Eminent Mouse slides in under the cover of the Xeno Cloak and has a flip to post it home. That's a 1-0 start in this set. And it just feels like the side of Lakeland, this forward duo, especially Eminent Mouse, is proving that he is an equal match for NASL level players.
Yeah, I mean, Grimella actually losing the strike war there to ET Han, and Eminent Mouse just right there with him with the core flip to actually put that one in. Grimella still has a core flip of their own,
wow.
So UCLA still has some forward advantage here with 3Z Breezy getting the core flip farmed as well. Water Fury just needs to hold for now, but cannot do it. ET Han just has his number, has his address, has his social security, whatever else you name it. But Eminent Mouse finally going down gives UCLA a little bit of breathing room to get this get this barrier rather, which they do. Grimella now looking for the core flip to himself. Pass. That was a great pass to himself onto that top side. I mean, Grimella trying to find a resurgence here, trying to, awaken his friends here on UCLA, his teammates. They need a couple more points. They need this set.
They do. I mean, I'm always so nervous. This is one of those maps where Knife's Edge is always on the table and you really want it on your side. The difference is insane. With 3Z, funny enough, that recovery drone kill put him in a nice position to get the ball back in their control. And ET Han, uses the X-Maximus and can't get the barrier. It is quite efficient, honestly. He's giving me shades of Oki almost with this ET Han play. They just get the ball in his hands, and he is really good at these strike wars. 3Z's going to have to put him down real quick, make sure he's on the other side of the pitch once again. Both recovery drones have been expended for the X's. We're going to see if Grimella makes sure. It's up to him to make sure that Eminent Mouse isn't going to punish any misposition. He's dancing on the edge. Soren making sure he's holding it well. Seriously, these defensive goalies are putting on a clinic for as ET Han has pressure. Great flip from Water Fury, and Grimella intercepts the pass. Eminent Mouse had the angle, but Grimella one step ahead on that engagement. Now making sure that ETHon's got the ball in his hands once again. Water Fury walks forward so he doesn't have to interact with the X-Strike Maximus combo. Really good heads-up play by him as ETHon's getting bounced around. Taken out as well. Water Fury had an excellent point so far, but it's not over yet. It is not over yet. 3Z already back in control. That's a barrier down for Soren. 3Z has the flip, but so does Soren. Who's going to pop it first? It's 3Z. He didn't. Oh, it's like a Mexican standoff. Both hands on the trigger fingers, but 3Z Breezy was the one to do it first. And I respect Soren didn't try to do it as well. It's so easy to fall into that trap board. He holds it for the next point, understood that he missed his mark, and he's going to hold it for a more influential sequence on this board play.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I was about to shout that out as well. I really like, you're up 2 points, realizes I don't need to risk using my flip here, keep it for next point, keep the tempo and the momentum. Even if he gets the core flipping, gets the goal here, that's still not that big of a deal. We're still ahead, so shout out to Soren. Honestly, the MVP of this entire game so far. ETHon and Eminent Mouse putting in so much work. Eminent Mouse keeping Grimella, who's been literally untouchable this entire day, keeping him at bay. And ETHon, like I said many times before, has Water Fury's number, has just been completely punishing the goalie of UCLA this entire time. But 3Z Breezy just looks like it's so hard to get anything done for Soren, but finally, gets into the perfect position with the help of Grimella to get it right in front of that barrier. But now needs to be careful, but can't be careful enough as it goes down. The KO for Lakeland. And the double KO now for Lakeland. Water Fury has the core flip, has the mock roll, has the tools to hold this, but needs to show me he can get it done. Core flip now coming through, clears it, allows 3Z Breezy to come back up 3 more seconds until Grimella comes back up. Water Fury managing to hold, and 3Z Breezy gets the KO. Great job. Water Fury can hold for now. Now UCLA have the chance to get this set win here, which would be so crucial, like you said, with so many of these awakenings still on the table. Ooh, almost goes in. Great pass, but 3Z Breezy can't get it in, but finally gets it done, wins the strike war onto the bottom corner there. Soren could not get it back in time. Great job from UCLA and Water Fury to hold that point. Finally, the set win, and the X is getting first pick Will Knife's Edge be here? Will it be here? And yes, it will.
Oh, it's there! Oh, they got it. They won the lottery. They've got Knife's Edge. Now, it doesn't mean it's over, but that's a huge swing. I'm going to be honest, I thought it was over when Eminent Mouse found another kill on Gramella. Water Fury was in the 1v3, and he bossed up with the flip, making sure he cleared it excellently. There was no way for the ball to recover. That's a mistake that players can make. They'll flip, and they'll instantly hit it to where another player is, and the offense keeps going, but he found the avenue to make sure that it killed the possession long enough. His teammates came back, and Threezy had a huge bull rush to kill Eminent Mouse and swing the play back in his favor. He's rewarded with a Knife's Edge. This game is completely even. We'll see what happens next, but it gives him so much offensive presence that maybe it's the spark plug they need to make sure Soren shut down.
Yeah, making sure Soren shut down, but it doesn't even matter if Gramella can find that perfect strike placement through Eminent Mouse and Soren there on that bottom side. Threezy didn't even need to touch it there. So great shot there for Gramella, and if you look at that whole point, managing to just barely survive while also keeping core control at the same time. So well done to Gramella for really just kind of staying, like, just keeping strong here and managing to not let Nerves take care, realizing, you know, tries to prove that he is the better player here and just stay composed. Now, staying composed is Threezy Breezy, still has the recovery drone, does not need to fear. Itihan also getting kind of shot up a little bit here by this Now and by this Mako. Threezy Breezy has a recovery drone, but ends up flipping anyway, does not want it to go down yet, but is still going to lose the recovery drone right now as Gramella does the solo play, gets the barrier. Water Fury now going to need to hold against Itihan, and it looking like he will do so, but Threezy Breezy needs to be careful. I'm a little bit worried. It's super low and has no evade. Gramella almost going down to that shotgun by itself. But like I said, still has the recovery drone. They still have the recovery drones to work with, but Gramella is just putting this game into his hands. The perfect Now primary. I mean, Gramella now unleashed. We've seen the copy pasta. He's putting it into effect right now, Vaughn. Storm the keep.
Storm the keep. Knowers know. Gramella had an excellent primary usage. That drone made sure that the goal was going in. The offensive pressure, it just seems like it's turned up a notch. It always feels like Threezy and Granella have the ball on their side, but Itihan isn't able to get it in his hands. Soren does a great job of denying yet another sequence with Gramella and Water Fury in the back, making sure Itihan can't pilot, can't find it, as he's been doing all season. Threezy Breezy makes it in. It's in again. Nice edge speed with the slick kicks. He's just running over them now. It's a 3-0. UCLA's poised for one of the greatest losers run in bracket history.
First pick.
If they find one more set, this could be Manu. It's not Manu. I'm not sure if it's up anymore, but it was almost a detriment for Lakeland. They get away with it, but there's still first pick on the table, and Quick Strikes is probably going to fall to him. Oh, he opts for fight or flight, though.
Okay. Yeah, I guess, you know, wants Threezy Breezy to get the quick strikes possibly, but I'm afraid leaving that up because then if Soren gets it, it's going to allow Soren's job to be a little bit easier. But, I mean, fight or flight, definitely not a weak training, weak awakening. So Threezy Breezy ends up getting the rapid fire instead. Can't be mad at that. But one thing to know here is Eminent Mouse actually has 3 sparks right now.
Yeah.
Has that triple spark here. The only one missing, I believe, is that spark of strength. Yep, which, you know, pretty important, but not going to be the most big deal as agility and cooldown are both incredibly strong. So Eminent Mouse is going to be a threat this entire game. It is going to be incredibly hard to kill. So we'll have to see if UCLA can tame this Drakkar beast right now. Looking incredibly strong on the offensive side. Strike Shotgun going to be looking crazy huge here, but not even going to need it. The barrier going down anyway. Threezy Breezy is running at light speed right now with the help of the Now Mine.
Nice shot.
To actually get it in, but it doesn't matter. Itihan finds an amazing shot with the dash strike down on that bottom corner. Water Fury was not ready for that one.
Yeah, that was a fantastic mix-up. It baited out the strike in such a way that the slower core speed really didn't matter. Water Fury wasn't able to reach it in time, and Itihan is not going down without a fight. That was some elite shot placement for it.
Yeah, elite shot placement in the most elite game you can get to in the entire collegiate scene. Grand finals now of the entire tournament. Itihan now going down, losing this recovery drone pretty early, honestly, in the set, and now needs to be careful. Threezy Breezy is going to be putting him away, and now it's going in right after that. Soren just struggling to hold now against the presence of Gramella and Threezy Breezy, and Water Fury running up for good measure just in case. Sad Boys flash, the triple one. You're glad to see that one, Vaughn, as they want to put this game away. They want this ring.
They're so close. They are so close to making one of the most impressive tournament runs in almost any game's history. Grimella and Threezy are just on a rampage. He's got the flip. Can Grimella get the ball to him right now? E.T. Han's on the back foot, making sure he can help on the defensive end, which just shows how determined Lakeland is to deny this flip. Making sure he doesn't waste it. He's got it. He's got the spin. He's spinning to winning on the flip. It can't be stopped. They're 1 point away, Borg. They're 1 point away from cementing themselves in Omega Strikers history.
Championship point here, Vaughn. And one thing to note here, Breezy just used that core flip, but look who has one. Grimella, who has been a threat to Soren all game. Popping it right now from midfield. Not going to find much from it. Breezy using that X Maximus already as well. Soren going to be holding for now. Cooling his nerves, wants to keep this alive, this dream alive for the 2-peat, right? Not quite the same as the 3-peat, but maybe could get it next season, but gonna have to win this to keep the dream alive for now. Eminem Mouse trying to stay relevant. E.T. Han is just challenging Water Fury again and again, but it looks like Water Fury has cooled his nerves for good this time, managing to stay stalwart in this net. Grimella helping him out as well, and there you go. Save after save after save after save into core flip. Another save coming out from Water Fury. Grimella bringing it forward now, wants to get this barrier once and for all. Eminem Mouse forced the core flip of his own, and finally gets the barrier, but Breezy trying to get it back on the same end. No, Soren putting it away, save after save as well. These goalies are going nuclear right now, Vaughn, as E.T. Han and Eminem Mouse are trying to bring it in, but Water Fury cannot be stopped. Grimella keeping it on this bottom side. Core flip once again off the center, cannot get it in. Breezy has the core flip as well, trying to dribble it up here with the primary. Gets it without using the core flip. Now Soren needs to be careful, as Breezy might put this one away if they can get to it. E.T. Han trying to put it in. No, gonna be staggered, can't get to it. Now the dribble. Breezy gonna find the outplay. No, Grimella puts it in. They win.
UCLA's done it! They've won! They cemented themselves in history! What an incredible losers bracket run! They've broken the kings of collegiate wide open. Breezy, Grimella, and Water Fury have done it, Borg! They've won the season! All the doubters, all the question marks surrounding this roster, the day one performance, they were thrown into doubt, but the ones who didn't doubt them were themselves. UCLA! I've never been more impressed with a tournament run in the OS scene. What a fantastic cap to their performance. The final dance. Threezy and Grimella in their senior year, their last team together, are able to put a historic championship run with Water Fury to take the whole thing. What a storyline for these players.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta excuse me at the end there. I started yelling. I completely lost my voice there at the second. That's how hyped that was. I mean, keep in mind, guys, I mean, these are all players that I extremely enjoy playing with and I love seeing, including the side of Lakeland as well. I'm including all these players, right? And just the series that they gave us was probably one of the most entertaining, if not the most entertaining collegiate, or really just series in general, not even just collegiate. Like, that was insane. So, I mean, shout-outs to Lakeland, shout-outs to UCLA for bringing us an amazingly entertaining series. But at the end of the day, UCLA is going to be taking the cake. They're going to be bringing it home finally on the senior year, like you said, getting that trophy that they really, really needed, that they really wanted. And man, I mean, that was intense fun.
Intense doesn't even begin to describe it. I didn't think I would sit here and say that a Mako era X mirror would have me at the edge of my seat, but it really did. I really need to give shout outs, and I can't say this enough. I am so impressed with MNN Mouse and E.T. Han. The narrative is always about Soren, and he is a great player. Let's not get it twisted. He made grand finals of NASL. He had great showings in other S tiers as well, like Afrika. But his teammates, MNN Mouse and E.T. Han, they should be proud of how they played today. I was so impressed, especially with the goal scoring of E.T. Han, the consistency he had, and Eminem Mouse going tooth and nail with Grimella. I would not say that there was a position in grand finals that I felt was lopsided in the slightest. I'm truly impressed. All 6 players, you know, there's always going to be misplays. There's always going to be great plays. But at the end of the day, the consistency mattered. And I was really, really impressed with that 5-game series. So I need to give Lakeland props. I need that to be said. Now, that being said, let's go UCLA. Let's go. Oh, yeah, those are my boys. I'm so proud of them. They did phenomenally, showed they could pilot multiple different characters. Everyone stepped up big. And my favorite part of this storyline, other than the fact that, first of all, that is Gramella's first tournament win.
Oh yeah, it is. I
Ever.
forgot.
I need to say that. He finally got the chip. He did it with his roommate, his teammate of years. And then the part I never want to forget too is the story of Water Fury. This guy came in last season as a rookie. He was just another player in the queues. I had never seen him before. He was sitting in plat at the time. All right. And over the course of that season, we saw him improve. We saw him improve even more. He started to get talked about, and then UCLA fell short. We remember what happened. But now he had the LAN experience with Dropletto and Muncher. He had the CCL experience again. He's been in the queues. I've even talked with him about, like, I've played against him. I've played with him. I've had some words with him as well. And to finally come in and be a part of a championship roster, this is just everything that you want from collegiate Omega Strikers. Just someone who wasn't involved in the scene being brought along with two established players who everyone expected would have to do the heavy work. And when I watched those grand finals, I couldn't be more proud of Water Fury and the strides he's made. He's put in the work. It really showed. And today, it gave him the ring. And there's truly nothing more beautiful in competition than that. So really, really well done with Water Fury. I'm hoping we can get them in here for an interview. I would love to have some words with the members of UCLA. We'll have to wait and see on production there. But we'll just have to wait a little longer. I'm sure they're celebrating right now, so don't go anywhere. We'll talk to them in a second. Real quick, Borg, let's just do a recap. Let's just relive the greatest moments of this playoffs. Just an insane run from the side of UCLA. Did you have them winning the whole thing? I know we wanted it, but on Saturday morning, would you have said they were going to be here?
I definitely would not. Let's go back super far back, Vaughn, right? Let's get the narrative kind of centered around here.
Sure.
Like we said at the beginning, actually what you exactly said at the beginning was, at the first day, right, we looked at all these teams. We said, oh, on paper, UCLA, with the rise of Water Fury, like you said, definitely the strongest one here. Not even discounting SLU, who we saw as the undefeated seed in the main season, right? Undefeated in that main season. Lakeland, the returning champion. So many strong teams, but UCLA on paper, we all thought was just the best roster by far.
Sure.
Struggled in the regular season, right? And then got a pretty, 7th seed isn't the worst, but it's not where you really want to be when you, quote unquote, should be one of the strongest rosters. Come in, have a pretty shaky first day. Have to get a sub in, but the sub manages to pull up through, right, with that 1-2 win to take out Longhorn Gaming, who was having an incredible tourney run themselves. Gets put into that bottom bracket, and then now, look at this. They come all the way back up through beating every single, not every single, obviously, but pretty much every single better seed ahead of them that they fell to in the regular season and fell to earlier on in this tournament, right? So proving everyone that they can do it, they do have the potential to do it. Kind of playing with our heartstrings, especially as the friends of 3Z Breezy Gravella, right? So, putting it to pretty much everyone. I think I saw Water Fury actually post the meme of the he posted the meme of the Reaper.
Going down the hallway.
Going down the hallway, and each of the doors were the teams, and they finally got the last door. They opened it, and in that door was the trophy. So, any extra shout outs for any teams that you thought was pretty, and maybe in any interesting series?
I've got one that's coming to mind. I think there
ahead,
was a secret grand finals that isn't getting talked about. Sure, this said grand finals on the stream, but I think there was an actual real grand finals, and it was UCLA versus Longhorn Gaming. That series, 1 point, one Tycho bounce goes differently, and this never happens. And ironically, it's against the team that 3Z Breezy championed. I was so impressed. It's so funny to say because, let's be clear, UCLA, to make this run, had to go through losers from the 4th, the 3rd, the 2nd, and the 1st seed. Okay, double eliminating the returning champs. But ironically enough, the scariest game was versus Longhorn Gaming. So I want to make sure that I shout out Maple, Mr. Flambeau, and Nikki Middleton. Those 3 players played phenomenally, and I would include them as part of this losers run. I don't want anyone to forget that Longhorn Gaming series. Let's be clear, because that was part of the journey. It happened day 1, but it's a part of their whole process. So I want to shout that out. I still want to shout out Lakeland, and I don't want to make sure that I don't mention this. While they did come on the strongest championship day, I also want to make sure I shout out SLU, the only undefeated season in CCL history. Maybe a bit of a stain to not make it all the way, a little bit of that Golden State Warriors 73-9 record, but that still doesn't discount the excellence they showed all season. This was truly a really competitive playoffs. I don't think there's a single bracket that could have ever predicted how this went. Actually, I probably know there's no bracket that predicted this. I'm sure we could check, and if anyone did, you have my utmost respect. But this was a CCL. I mean, what an experience! Like this was a true collegiate victory for everyone involved, and I'd still like to congratulate once again UCLA for their win, snagging our sponsor Intel's processors. Thank you once again to all our sponsors that helped out to put on this production, this broadcast, this season. Without them, CCL would still exist, but it just wouldn't have the same support that it did. So I want to make sure that I shout out all those sponsors, even the ones that I didn't mention just now, Elite as well. Really making sure that the season comes together. This is a student-run, like completely grassroots scene, and what they've managed to do this season, really something special. And I don't want anyone calling this a Mickey win. I'm not going to hear it. There's nobody who's won more championships than me, and I'm putting my stamp of approval on this win. This was awesome. Taking the people that you know, that you live with, that you see every day, and bonding together, growing together, improving together. This means a lot. I'm so proud of all the teams. I loved watching. I've watched these games more closely than NASL. I watched them closer than NASA. I love the storylines. I can't wait for CCL 3. Just a great end of the season for it. I can't say it enough.
Yeah, well, we will be getting into these interviews momentarily. Thank you again, like you said, to all of our sponsors. Thank you again to Dylan Surplus, Blue Blazing, everyone behind the scenes here, Shenandoah as well for helping put up the production. Everybody involved, obviously too many names to count, but you know who you are. Thank you guys. Thank you all the casters. Thank you to you, Vaughn, for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you to you, Vaughn, joining me here on the casting desk.
Thank you to you too. Hey, you did great. You look great out there. You look great.
Hey, you look great in here, and I'm glad that I got to do this with you. I think first time we actually casted, and what a great first time here on the biggest stage.
It was so fun. I couldn't control myself, dude. The points. I was so glad you were doing them. I mean, they couldn't see me when the game was going, but guys, there was some where I'm just like, oh my god, like, oh wow, what an emotional roller coaster on EVK Sunday, no less. Like, just what a great day.
I mean, on that last point, me as well. I literally got out of my chair, lost my voice, and ran around my room because I just could not handle all the hype. But to wrap us up here, thank you everybody. Thank you, Vaughn, co-casting. Thank you to everyone already said, so you know who you are. And that will be it for us. We will be going to a very, very short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll have an interview with the winners, UCLA, 3Z, Breezy, Grimella, and Water Fury momentarily. Please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.